Oh my god, hello friends! We are here. It is Queen's Court Games with another single-serving tabletop adventure. This time, we are finally finishing, oh my god, we're finally finishing Convergence from Delta Green. I know that everyone's really excited to find out what happened based on how last episode ended, which is why I'm going to drag that out. And first, talk about some of the wonderful people who have joined us once again on the show. On my right, no idea where they are located, actually in the overlay, the absolutely wonderful Logan. How you doing, buddy?
Apparently, I can't figure out a mute button. So that's how I'm doing, figuring out technology. But otherwise, I am fantastic.
Excellent. Love to hear the second part. First part, you know what? We will be on this together. We will go on this journey together. Also joining us, the wonderful, have you seen how cute his face is? I'm actually kind of like upset that how attractive he makes the show when I'm on it, because like it really makes me look less good by comparison. I'm talking about Jojo. Jojo, how are you doing, bud?
You gave me, I know, I got nervous. It's like we take 1 week off and we all forget how to do it. I'm doing good. I'm really excited to play and see, if anybody's happy at the end of the night is what I'm excited for. Yeah.
I think maybe like at least one of you, right? Like
I hope one, right?
Genre-wise, there's the final girl. We're not going to be sexist like that. It could be the final anybody, but like at least one of you, right? Well, I will keep that in my back pocket. Moving on, also, wow, it's like moving in, like, not order of attractiveness. I was going to say in order of attractiveness, but two things. One, you're all attractive, which makes it difficult. I'm kind of the only one dragging the bar down. And two, I did not want to set up a situation where I have to call V the most attractive person in the room, because I couldn't handle that. The energy that would come back at me would just be a lot. So, continuing our parade of attractive people, it is Aubrey. Aubrey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited and scared as to what's going to happen, but I'm ready to see how this ends.
And lastly, but not leastly, and certainly not beastly, that's the thing about how you're attractive and not ugly. It's a little rhyme I did there. B, how are you? How you doing?
I'm great. A little confused. But that's fine. I'm ready to get in there and kick some Eldritch Horror butt. Maybe, or whatever happens.
I think we've covered a range of the appropriate emotions. We have befuddled, we have scaroused, we have excited. There's a general sense of nervous. This is kind of the Delta Green mood in a nutshell. So I'm excited to carry that forward. Now, for those of you who want to find these people on social media, you can put !cast in chat or check the show notes on YouTube. They should be like over here. Well, no, you got to push the button down there and then they'll be over here. Find all the information there. That will also tell you the name of the game we're playing, which if you have missed it in the first part because you're just getting back from having grabbed a soda after the raid that came in, it is Delta Green, and you can find out more about that by putting !scenario in the chat. Now, this is normally the part where if we were playing for the first time, I would say let me tell you a story, but I got ahead of myself there because my brain knows it's your turn to give me a recap of what was going on last week. I'm slowly reaching for the dice unless there are going to be volunteers. There are never any volunteers. That's why we have to get out Satan's caltrop and see what is going on. Jojo, you did it last time, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I believe you did, and if I'm wrong, chat will tell me. But I think that means you're immune. Like by survival rules, you cannot be voted into the recap circle.
I'll take it.
Not that it matters, because V, your number has come up. V Peach, tell us and the viewers what was going on. Last time we were in Groversville, Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, there is some weird, crazy shenanigans going on in Groversville, Tennessee. When episode 2 started, it kind of dropped us into the middle of some action, where the good Dr. West narrowly avoided, with the help of myself, Agent North, and Agent Eastman, narrowly avoided being sprayed by all manner of gross blood and viscera from a corpse in a bathtub, as you do. Turns out, though, as we would find out, that viscera was actually proto-matter that is kind of changing bodies. Agent Eastman knows this a little bit better than the rest of us, though, because he's as we've come to realize, he, much like our friend Spivey, has not had a bathroom visit in quite some time.
I think that is something that you are pulling from some of the chats that we've had, because in character, I don't think we've called attention. I don't think there's been enough time.
No, there
Agent
hasn't.
Eastman to notice.
No, but it's still something for us as the players to know and be concerned about generally. But as we went out, we discovered that the water at the reservoir was definitely filled with this proto-matter, was reacting very, very highly to that. So we decided to head to the city hall, go visit the alderman. After a very weird interaction with the man who runs the country bunker, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the burger that he made us, but
does anyone have it? I have it, but does anyone else have it?
I have it in my notes. I just don't have it handy.
Was it the Chuck Don't Fuck?
The Chuck Don't Fuck
The
burger. Yeah, see, Jojo actually wrote it
burger.
down of the notes that people say. This is definitely going to be important. I'm going to need this later. I'm gonna get
The Chuck Don't Fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
I just called it the fucked up burger.
Yeah.
But that's what's in my notes.
I mean, that's that
Yeah.
too.
That was the working title, but then Chuck realized the rhyme and couldn't possibly resist.
Yeah.
Well, V, you went into City Hall. What'd you find there?
Somebody who was definitely not all there mentally, but then as we walked up the stairs and realized that there were some odd sort of coincidences between the way that this place was laid out as far as like light is concerned, we found ourselves inside the room with the alderman, or what used to be the alderman, because it was just a big giant fleshy thing from wall to wall.
Wall to wall, floor to ceiling, carpet,
Yeah.
The alder thing, as we are calling it, a mess of flesh from a number of humans kind of dissolved together and then stitched, not with like actual stitches, but just kind of glue
flesh
glomming.
Velcro, would you call it? A flesh hook and loop fastener?
Yeah, flesh hook and loop fastener is what we would say there.
That is an image, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hilariously from our Lord Blackbird playthrough.
And now it just lives for rent free in Beats Head forever.
Forever. It comes up way more often than I'd like to admit.
So yes, we have maybe like 400 to 500 pounds based on what you can see in the main bit, with tendrils and such flowing out from there. There are arms and faces just kind of bubbling up every now and again from this rolling thing. It acts with some sense of intent in the way that like if you would like hold up light to an animal, the animal would withdraw, right? I mean, not a cat, but like a bear, maybe, I don't know. Turns out I'm not an animalogist, but in this sense, you can tell that this creature, as you open the door, is aware of your presence in a very like general way, but it's certainly not human in its intellect. Whatever remained of the consciousness of the alderman, maybe it just hasn't really handled well being smashed together, fused into oneness, as you see in its movements. It doesn't make any immediate moves, and this is the part that I think everyone was nervous about when we left the last game, because you were afraid we were going to throw open the doors and then it would be like the thing where just like spiky tendrils immediately flying out at you. That is not the case. You can observe it for a time. I wouldn't, like, you kind of don't want those details locked away in your nugget forever, but it doesn't appear to, like, it notices you. You can see it, or maybe it was just the change in the light that it reacted to. I don't know, but it's there. The smell is utterly amazing. It's a little plasticky, a little flesh. I want you to try to imagine something, right? You know, like a hot dog factory where they put the meat into the grinder and then it gets all stirred up with the water and the chemicals, and then there's the pipes that are coming by that have the hot dog wrappers on them, and there's the one machine that takes the wrapper and puts it over the edge of the spigot, and then the spigot fills it with the meat slurry. that stage of the process, that's the smell I want you to kind of think of, right? Like industrial meat slurry.
Is this a thing that you've like? Did you like go on a field trip to a hot dog factory or something?
I watched a YouTube video a couple days ago.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, because I don't know what that smell is. I can probably figure it out, but I've never been to one personally.
Well, I do live in Nebraska, where like the meat packing smell follows you as you go neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood. There's a dog food factory actually right across the river. So when the wind blows the right way, you also kind of get that. You would not like living here. V has the superpower of like amazing scent smell detection. She has very, very, very good nose. And this city would not like her very much.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Also, the sound, I think, is probably going to be not great. I've used this in the past, but can you imagine for a moment like wearing like plastic rain boots and then walking through mud, that like splashing sound? So as these tentacles don't like they don't move through the body, right? They'll come, like a tentacle comes out and then it retreats and then it comes out somewhere else, and then like a face pops up and then sinks away and goes out somewhere else and comes around. And every time it does that, there's that wet, like soupy, I like think about like maybe punching really, really hard down into like a tub of oatmeal, how that would sound, and maybe also feel if that becomes relevant at any point in the story. That is the kind of mood that we have stumbled into. Well, not we, because I'm not the one who opened the fucking door. I'm not the one who went to City Hall. That's all on you. Now, you have choices in this moment. You have so many choices. I'm going to ask one of my favorite questions as a DM. What are we doing now, fams?
I was like, didn't one of us fail at this, like a sand roll right before this?
Oh, shit, you're right.
I failed horribly.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall, there must be repercussions for that. And I don't know about you, but if a man has his sanity cracked by such eldritch horror that he must act in a way, and also happens to be holding a rifle in his arms, I think I'm gonna try and shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that's my instinct.
What could be more American and more like American military specifically than seeing a problem and immediately lashing out with violence, right?
I mean, I feel like this is fair. At least I'm not attacking people. At this point, this is not a person. This is an amalgamation of flesh and disturbing things.
So walk me through that. Let's set the scene this way, because you don't like immediately go into Rambo mode, right? There's that moment of like your brain has to kind of process it and put it all together, and there's a few seconds before the neurons get together and go, no, fuck this, where's the gun? And in those few seconds, I would like to know, Agent North, Agent West, Agent Southerland, what you didn't fail your roles, so you at least have some semblance of mental faculty to rely upon. What is your reaction here in the 3 to 4 seconds before the slopping sound is interrupted by a hail of close quarters gunfire? Stunned silence is appropriate.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I was not expecting that.
Did they cover this in anthropology school?
I think we were all like opening the door in some kind of order, yeah?
Yes, it was Agent Eastman and I were taking point on the door because we have the much larger guns.
Yes.
And you two were farther back, but I don't think like the 5-10 feet is enough to to protect you from the sights,
and
the smells.
It's not like a door to a bedroom, right? We're talking about like big county swinging outdoors. Yeah. So Audrey and I made this.
You did. That was good.
International Sign Language apparently for big opening doors. Yeah. So you're not close enough in the same way. Like you get maybe like a waft of that smell. The sound is a few decibels quieter, but if you were hoping to escape this moment by like, no, I don't know what's in that room over there. Sure, nothing dangerous. That's not going to happen.
No, the opposite. I was wondering to see how much this flesh creature kind of extended along the walls? Because it looked like it was definitely along the backdrop, but I was hoping to, once the doors go open in those first few seconds, I imagine I'm looking into the room, and I would like to see, if it is the entire, 4 walls of the room, an eldritch stomach, I suppose is what I'm getting at, or is it constrained to the back wall?
Well, I will tell you straight up that there's not going to be any kind of biology that you can determine.
Sure.
Not from a distance, but just in general, this thing kind of, it might have a stomach. But if I asked you, describe for me what an eldritch protoplasmic stomach would look like, and then I'll tell you if you can see one, right? That's kind of the problem that we run into.
Sure.
But for the second question, why don't do you want to call it search? We'll see if you can search quickly.
Yeah. Oh, search. That is 75 out of 80.
Okay. So yeah, how about this? Name 2 or 3 questions you have.
Okay.
I will answer them according to the best of my knowledge, and what you can see.
Cool. Is there anybody else in the room at all? Like, are there any bodies or persons otherwise unaccounted for? This is my first question.
No, there's no one else in the room. There's not like a stranger hanging out. To the extent that there are bodies, they are attached to the plasmic spawn.
Cool, great.
I don't think you can count like the number of faces or limbs to like, okay, I see 18 arms. That means there's 9 people, or maybe there's 8 people. There's none of that, but there's no one else in the room aside from this thing.
Great. And then does this thing extend across like all the walls, or is it just against a back wall there?
So let's imagine, okay, so you have a picture of the room in your head, right? So we'll say it's maybe like 20 or 30 feet long and then 20 feet wide. So yeah, about 30 feet long, 20 feet wide. And there's like it's supposed to be a courtroom or a boardroom. So you'd have a dais on the far end where you'd have 8 or 9 seats in this county, right? So you're standing where you're standing, and imagine for a moment it's not occupied by flesh morph, right? But you had like a balloon full of paint, and you just chucked that baby as hard as you could against the back wall, and it exploded paint backwards from there, right? That's the pattern that you're kind of looking at, where the main mass has taken over the entire central bit of that like alderman board meeting area, and then tendrils of it splatter out forward. So I wouldn't call it a safe zone. I don't want to put that idea in your head, but the plasmic creature stops, it's maybe 7 or 8 feet off the back wall, and then individual tendrils of it are reaching maybe like 10 or 12 feet along the wall, in the way that like a slime mold kind of moves around and stretches out.
Great. And then my last question would be, was there any light, blacked out windows, or a potential light source that I could see from where I am at?
Yeah, so knowing the layout of the building and like where you came up the stairs, you know that the back wall here, where the plasm is, behind that there should be windows. You can kind of see a couple that are blacked out on like the right and left side of this thing, but the rest are either like plasm pushing up against it, blocked off. Maybe there's you can't get a good sight line on those. In the meantime, did that give you anything, Agent North, Agent West? Any action-wise?
I still want to test if they are actually sensitive in any way to sunlight, or if it's, just they just don't like it, or like if you expose this to like UV rays, does it hurt it?
Biologically speaking, I think what would be haldopelagic life from the coldest parts of the ocean, very light sensitive. If that were a way to go, yeah, sure. I'm gonna go off on a limb and say that you don't want to go over and try to open the windows.
No.
But that's not a problem, because Gunner McGee over here is about to lay down some rounds.
Hopefully test my theory, because anytime we've encountered these things, it has been in incredibly dark environments where like any attempt to have light in a place has been blocked off. So it's like, it's a theory.
Well, we can test this in 2 ways. First of all, Agent Eastman, will you roll firearms? And then while we get that result, you should know that this like a 7.62 chambered assault rifle, it will be an assault weapon because you're not going to be able to carry a fully automatic rifle around the United States. It's very, very illegal, and you are doing an illegal thing. But every time you pull that trigger, you are getting a nice flashbulb effect of the flame actually expanding from the front. So maybe that gives you some information. Maybe, depending on the result of Agent Eastman's roll, he's a terrible shot and blows holes through the windows on either side of it. I don't know, Agent Eastman, what happened?
I got a 70, and my skill is 80, so.
Rounds on target. Wow, that's a really good find. Wow, good shooting, man. So the to answer your question, Dr. West, the flashing of the gun going off, at this point it's going to be hard to distinguish whether that is what irritates the creature or whether it's the being pierced by Full Metal Jacket rifle rounds, because Agent Eastman is on it. It's one of those things when you go through military training or CIA training, what they try to do is try to get back in the reptile brain. When the siren goes off, they don't want you to think, oh, siren's going off, recognize siren, do action. They want to skip that middle part, and siren goes off, do action. So when this threat response activates, Agent Eastman, like, he has that couple seconds of brain twisting, altered perception of reality reaction, and then immediately, like, guns out, bam. So is it the light? Is it the bullets? I don't know. It does sound really angry. Now, Agent Eastman, you're looking for the effect of the rounds, right? You want to see, does it stop moving? What happens?
Yeah.
And in this, yeah. So are you familiar with ballistic gel, like, as a player?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yep. So it's going through like that?
Mm-hmm. Like, just piercing through, but there's no, you can actually, I mean, like, you probably can't in this moment, but if you had the slow motion, you could see the hydrostatic shock of the bullet, like, rippling through this thing, but it's not like blasting chunks off. It's not slowing down. It's going a bit faster. I'm not gonna do the thinking for you. Who knows? It doesn't look really happy about that, but it also doesn't look injured in the sense of, like,
as the rounds go through, I mean, I know I'm like in a psychic sense of shock, you know, like everything is reeling through my brain, like, what is this goddamn monstrosity and what the fuck is it doing here? And as I'm shooting, do I see, like, viscera and gore come out of it, or is it just the bullets going through?
Well, let's try this. Why don't you roll willpower, and we'll see how much of your hard-coded military training allows you to observe the situation, or whether or not the just bang, bang, bang takes control.
Let's see. 0 on these dice. What does that mean again?
Critical failure.
Oh, okay. Well, no. Well, I got a 5 into 0.
Oh, well, that means you rolled a 5,
So,
which is an extreme success.
Yeah.
Well, very well done. So let's say this happens, and then because we're kind of twisting chronology a little bit, this will be this ending part, which Agent Eastman is having, will be the first part of the rest of you being able to act. Because Agent Eastman's going to go through this magazine until it goes click, right? Your willpower success is going to stop you from slapping in another one and just continuing going, and then for the rest of the mission, you don't have any bullets left. And whose fault is that? Mr. Loss's control. In this case, you make it to the first magazine, and as you go to reload, that's when you're checking the impact of these things. And yeah, there's no, like, viscera flying off or anything. It's essentially just like you might as well be firing it down into mud for all the effect it seems to be having. I'm not sure whether the others of you, Agent North, probably you might be able to get that. Agent Dr. West, I think maybe there's a part of you, depending on a role, be able to determine that. Agent Southerland, I'm afraid this is way the fuck outside your area of expertise. So I don't know if, like, there's a skill you have that would allow you to connect what's kind of going on. But that said, so the first round was everyone doing their searches and things like that, and Agent Eastman opening fire. The second round is going to be Agent Eastman reacting and kind of, like, collecting himself and making that. So in this second round now, Agent North, Dr. West, Agent Southerland, what's the do? Strictly speaking, we should go in initiative order, which is based on your dexterity, but it's all kind of happening all at once.
Would Dr. West have brought up the the theory that she wanted to test. Obviously, this is something that I've kind of put together as well, but I don't think in the moment that would be like my first thought. But is this a thing that you would have voiced?
I think she was starting to voice. Well, I was starting to voice it as we were coming up the stairs, and we noticed that everything up here was blacked out. Because I went through and I was opening up windows. I was bringing light in just in case there was anything hiding. So it's something I definitely have voiced at least a hypothesis of.
Yeah, Dr. West has been on this train of thought for a little while now.
Yeah, and I remember we opened the windows. I couldn't remember if we had talked about it with as far as like the monster, the alder thing is concerned. But seeing a couple windows that aren't currently covered in plasma and making the connection that firing at the alder thing isn't really gonna do anything right now. I'm gonna get ahead of Dr. West's theory and help her out, and I'm gonna try and shoot out the windows.
Okay, roll firearms.
All right. 56 out of 80.
So yeah, you're blasting through. Here's the thing about those particular bullets. You have generally kind of like two kinds if you're going to use them to fight. You have the hollow points, which when they hit something, they mushroom out and expand, great for causing big wounds with the body. Then you have like full metal jacket ones, which are good for penetrating and use that for body armor and things like that. Neither one of them kind of gives a shit when you punch through a window. It's not like an action movie where like John Woo, like you shoot one bullet and the whole thing explodes. So in this case, it's more like John Woo, you're shooting through drywall and you see the individual shafts of light coming through. Now, it is the case that like when one of those little like pinhole spears of light, it's really hard for me to know like where the camera is. So I was trying to make like a really small fist, and instead of just like punched out, there's a really small like pinion of light that points out, and you can see it hit one of the little areas on the wall that has like a thin layer of the slime, and it does retreat away from that, but only insofar as like it just escapes that little like halo of light, and once it's in mostly darkness, it stops. But the gunfire is not going to be enough by itself. You're just going to punch more holes in this, right? It'd take a lot of bullets and some maybe you could do the thing like in the movies where you draw a cute little picture in it. But aside from that, there's not a really effective way right now to just blast that window out with a weapon.
Sure.
Dr. West, Agent Southerland, what about you?
I'm going to ask, is there anything in the hallway that we are in that, is throwable sized? Is there I some really sort of maybe what is the word for it? Something like holding up books on like a side table or something that's decently sized and has a decent enough heft that I can grab it and throw it through the window to try and open it up even more.
Like a little console table or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of something that would be like watermelon or like grapefruit size that you could have to. There'd have like a chair is the nearest thing I can handle.
Would there be a table lamp maybe?
If I could, I was also going to suggest on my go I was going to ask if there's specifically a fire extinguisher.
That would be good too.
If I see Dr. West beginning to search, you can bet that Agent Southerland is almost right behind them as the gunfire starts going off. He's not exactly jumping in, between the two agents. So he's like, "What are we looking for?"
You mean the guy who took the gun like this isn't lowering into a firing position, squatting down on one knee, taking it? No, yeah. Fire extinguisher, yes. I would say a table lamp, probably not. This is one of those buildings that like in the 50s they replaced it all with those overhanging fluorescents, right? But fire extinguisher, you have to, right? Fire extinguisher code being what it is. I don't know how much a fire extinguisher weighs, but it strikes me that they're probably like heavier than you'd think, right?
We each take one side and heft it through a window.
Well, that would be it's not. Yeah, no, athletics. Is there a throw skill in this game? No, it's just athletics. I'm pretty sure. To chuck it and
I have
that
athletics.
works out.
About 33 pounds.
Okay, so that's going to be hard, right? You can tell I'm not the kind of person who puts a lot of physical energy into the world, so I don't know. Strong people, how far could you throw something
not
with
strong.
33 pounds?
I could barely lift it.
What? No. What?
30. No, you could
Decently
toss it
far.
out
I could probably
pretty far.
actually.
Yeah.
Decently far.
Thir- 33 is not as heavy as you're thinking it is.
Yeah.
It's actually
No.
pretty easy to carry.
Well,
Like-
a gallon of milk weighs like
Because, I
8
mean-
pounds, right?
I'm thinking like a
There's
eight,
a gallon of water.
like an 8 or 10-foot pitch at that. You know,
Mm.
like
A gallon
Yeah.
of water is like 8 pounds. So it's like 4 gallons of water.
yeah.
Yeah. I'd
I'm
essentially
telling you,
share
I-
between 2 people.
I don't know. Well, then we get into like the how do you actually going to manage that? But here's what I'll do. I'll let you. What I was trying to figure out, and so Logan, you are my strong experts here. Would it be a normal difficulty thing to throw 30 pounds like accurately over a 15-foot distance, or would that be a hard roll according to this rule set? Is it a normal kind of thing, or would it be difficult?
Ooh.
Throwing something heavy isn't necessarily like a level of like just hard, or it's how well you're used to throwing things. Like, yeah, I would
Okay.
probably say the average person's not going to throw it well. They have
But-
the muscle mass to maybe do it, but like knowing how to aim it and like, how much energy do I need to use to chuck it up so it doesn't just fall?
Yeah. So
You know,
probably hard.
I'm gonna go off on a
yeah.
limb and say that is not. Dr. West does not have a hobby. Like we're just
No,
like
I'm not.
You know,
I don't
I
do
I
shot
throw
put.
medicine balls in the trash cans. It's my thing.
Okay, but I do, right? Like I am the gym rat of the
You're
group.
busy
I
firing
am a little
rounds
busy.
down range.
I'm just saying.
But chairs. Is there a chair anywhere? Chairs are a lot lighter, and a lot easier to throw.
Yeah, we can do a chair. I think a chair would be. We'll say okay. A chair can be normal if you want to get a chair, because at that point, bigger target, whatever. Agent. So let's do this way. One of you, Agent Southerland, Dr. West. One of you gets the chair. One of you gets the fire extinguisher. And then depending on the result of the chair roll, you can decide what you want to do with the fire extinguisher or not. So Dr. West, will you roll athletics for me as you chuck this this chair?
42 out of 50.
Well, there you go. So, I've been trying the entire time, like, to imagine throwing a chair, and all my body wants to do is stand up and pick up my chair and kind of like work through it, but I'm not going to do that on camera. Because you can't just like have it in front of you and like thrust it out. There's got to be like a swinging motion, right?
You gotta heave it, right? Like
Yeah, heave.
go
Heave.
back and then and then release it.
So, Doctor, what I say? So, I'm gonna let B. You said Dr. West heaves and then releases the chair.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I would imagine it'd be underhanded.
Okay, just my storyteller verbs, right? Heave and release is the phrase. Anytime in the future, like henceforth, every game I play, if someone needs to throw something heavy or awkward, I'm like, yeah, no, what you have to do is heave and release. So you heave and release it. It goes smashing through the window. Are you aiming for the same one that was already kind of like smashed out by the bullets? Or
Yes, because then it would probably be a little bit weaker, so therefore, like, you don't have to worry about like it maybe not being enough.
Yeah, and in that instance, you can kind of see how this has been put together. There's a blackout curtain, but it's not like a purpose-built blackout curtain. They've just put stuff up against the window that's cloth enough to block it out. So when you throw this thing, it hits that, and then the whole bit kind of like wraps in around the chair as it goes flying out into the second bit, and that is when things kind of go pear-shaped, because now there's a huge amount of light into the room, individual photons coming around, bouncing, scattering, and just that ambient light is enough to cause this thing. It doesn't scream because you need vocal cords to scream. And this thing doesn't really have vocal cords, or at least, I mean, parts of it are vocal cords, but it's not in like the throat bits anymore. That is, now it's bubbling up. It's rolling around. There are tentacles coming out, little tendrils of stuff. It is angry, but it is avoiding the light. So that said, Agent Southerland, you get to act. You'll be the last person who gets to act before it gets to act. You want to unmute for us?
Gotta
right?
mute.
You're
Got it.
muted. Yep.
So it's reacting, negatively to the light. Did I in fact find a fire extinguisher? Great. I would personally in anthropology and in archaeology, there is a degree of field work where you have to shovel and dig and fill shit with in bags. And I would wager that Agent Southerland is surprisingly fit from working out in the field, and I'm gonna go for pitching that fire extinguisher out a bigger window, which I guess would be an athletics roll.
On the opposite side of the room, yeah. You can. There are 2 windows that are not currently covered with plasm, and Dr. West has dealt with the one. The other's on the opposite side of the.
I would like to go for that one, and take the fire extinguisher and just chuck it out there. So I guess I'll make the roll for it. Great. That is a 19 out of 30.
30. Wow. Yeah. So I think you are also surprised when the fire extinguisher goes sailing and hits there was a lot of energy and you were really built up about it, but deep down inside you're like, I mean, who knows? And then when it smashes through, you're like, oh, holy shit. It's like, no, I gotta look cool in front of the guys. I mean, like, yeah, no, that's definitely what I meant to do. So the window goes smashing open. Now, that excitement is going to be only momentary, and I think all of you are going to have the same realization all at once, because we know the thing avoids light, yes? And right now, on the right side of the room and the left side of the room, there are currently now pillars of light that are clearing those sides of it. Now, I know you all went to high school and did the thing where you pour the liquid in different size containers, right? So if I have a 20 by 30 room that is currently occupied with 50% protoplasm, and then I shrink the size of that room by 5 feet on the other side, what happens to the volume of the center of our cylinder? Yes. So the plasm that is retreating away from the walls of the light has to go somewhere, and my friends, there's only 2 places for it to go, either out the window behind it, or towards you. So as that second window comes blasting open, now there is a rushing, just not I won't say a tidal wave, because it's not tidal in nature, but it rolls if you. I'm trying to think a kind of runny liquidy jello. If you poured that down some stairs, the way that it would splash and come along and all that stuff, and it is heading directly towards you. Now, Agent Eastman, Agent North, you originally were the only 2 people who were within kind of range of this, but I'm also going to say that Agent West and Agent Southerland, there's no way they would have thrown it from 10 feet back there, right? That's dumb. They would have gotten closer, which means I would like my D4 here to tell me who something bad happens to. Oh no. I feel bad because Jojo's not here, but I have drawn Jojo's number. So, great timing.
Great timing.
So based on my roll, Jojo, as this thing is trying to exit the room, we know any kind of liquid flowing seeks the path of least resistance. And when I pick 2 gun-wielding people, that kind of comes down to you and to Aubrey. And I don't know what this says about how this protoplasm has interpreted your level of masculinity and competence versus Dr. West's. But my friend, I'm going to need you to make a dodge roll here in a second, maybe, because the arms that are also tendrils. Imagine there's an arm, right? And the arm normally goes wrist, elbow, shoulder, body, but this one goes body, elbow, wrist, elbow, shoulder, knee, hand, with all definitely not the correct number of bones in between either, right? And that is the thing that is lashing out of this creature, trying to bat you away. I will figure out just a moment. There it is. That's what it's told. Shit.
That's always a fun face.
Yeah, I don't like that face.
Yeah, I don't like that face either.
Well, you are gonna be oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of dark in here. I had to look at the dice. I thought it was 99 and you were lucky. It is a 39. So, can you make a dodge for me, Agent Southerland?
Sure. That is a 46.
Out of how much?
Out of 30.
Oof. All right. So you are going to be surprised. You're surprised already, definitely. But something that is made out of just limbs stitched together, you would not expect it to be able to muster up the force that it does. But this thing reaches out and it just smashes at you, shocking enough that like the impact of what is really just like an arm made like out of connects into other arms is way more than your body is mentally ready for, and physically either. So I'm rolling the damage now. You will take 7 damage as this thing launches you. The first die of that is mostly from the impact of it hitting you, and the second is like horror movie, like when you see like Jason come up and hit someone, but then like their whole head goes flying off because it's a horror movie. Like that's what we're talking about. You remember how Spivey kind of like punched someone's chest in? Yeah. So that is what's happening to you, is you get flung backwards out of the door, like down the kind of like the side hallway towards, I don't know, like the place where you get your license plates made, or where you pay your tax.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's gonna take your next action to get up and to like unring your bell. The other 3 of you, this thing is still coming. So what are you gonna do?
Question. With a 50 in survival, okay, actually, I guess is like more like an above table question. Survival is in Delta Green, is it like skills like nature skills, or like your ability to like survive? Okay, great. Chances are very likely then that I know how to start a fire, correct?
I was going to suggest arson as my other action. Is I probably have something like that you would put on wounds that may or may not be flammable to disinfect them.
Yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think on the way I like the I want to learn how to start a fire with survival. Like you're going to get 2 fucking sticks out and rub them together. You can just have a lighter.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like,
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you were gonna be like, no, of course not. You hadn't mentioned it before, and so I just
that's not that kind of. It's not like it's not 2nd edition D&D where like no, you only have 98 feet of rope and the trench is 100 feet wide. Bet you wish you would have thought of that, huh? So I summon up my Gary Gygax energy. No, you have a lighter. I just look at the idea.
great.
I need to start a fire. Can I get some glass? I'm gonna roll survival.
Look it. Like I'm trying to play the game, okay?
No, it's great.
Yeah, thank you. Then yeah, I'm gonna try and set it on. It doesn't like light. It's gonna like fire a hell of a lot less, I think.
So you were gonna collaborate, Dr. West and Agent North. So
I probably have something that could be used as an accelerant.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Rubbing alcohol? Sounds like a Molotov to me.
So here's the thing. We're talking about combat, so it's 1 to 3 second bursts, which means you don't really have time to get the bag open and just like dig around in it. So why don't you, let's see what would be an appropriate roll. Luck is what you normally go for. It's a straight 50 shot. So you can roll 1d100, under 50 good, above 50 bad. This is gonna be for Dr. West, because you're just gonna reach back and grab something, and this rolls to see if you grab the right thing, or whether like your flammable object is like a box of rubber gloves as you pull it out.
24.
Yeah, okay. So you grab something, it happens to be flammable. You're gonna toss that over, or hand it over to Agent North, who then, what do you do?
I mean, if it's some sort of liquid, just kind of like grab a, I don't know, a piece
There's
of
a
cloth
flag.
or
There's
something.
gotta be a flag nearby.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yes, a polyester flag. Some piece of fabric somewhere would like to just rip that off the wall and then create like a little improv Molotov and then just shuck that bad boy.
Love the impulse. The polyester's not going to burn that way. It's going to melt, right?
I know, but that's why I'm saying some piece of fabric that's not polyester. That's why I specifically was laughing at a polyester flag, because obviously it's going to melt like plastic and not burn like fabric. I
like this energy. So I'm going to say that normally maybe I've just been in a courthouse recently. My sister's getting married, so I've been in the courthouse recently, and I did not see a single thing on the wall that was fabric-y, but in this case, we can say like the local Girl Scout chapter has made some kind of stitched together knit blanket, a quilt, right? Like the Groversville quilt for poverty awareness or whatever, something not non-controversial. It's
they
Tennessee.
All know they're poor. That's what it is.
Yeah, awareness of poverty. They're
aware of it.
They can't give money to people. That'd
They're
be
very
socialism.
aware. Yeah.
Oh.
So you take this quilt and you rip off Jennifer's piece of it.
Sorry, Jennifer.
Stuff in the thing, light it up, and then what are you doing with the bottle? Are you just like
I'm gonna throw it and center mass, right? I'm not gonna aim for the outshoot. I just try and get it in the middle and have the biggest effect.
Okay, cool. Agent Eastman, then. You're seeing them do this, so what's on your end?
I turn, I look at the monstrosity that is now, it's moved past us, right? It's now in the other room.
It's like there's enough of it that like it's like a train passing through the station. You have several cars to worry about as it comes by.
Okay, so before I do anything too crazy, or I want to assess some things, just as the player, if I remember correctly, Dr. West was opening windows in the other rooms before we came up here. So it doesn't probably know, but there's more light to mess with it, right? I want to. How would I best corral this thing towards that light?
It's gonna do it by itself, right? So you remember when you shot through the window and it avoided the little pinion?
Yeah.
So it's like you see this thing and it's not out of the room yet, right? We're talking like in 2 or 3 second increments. So it starts surging forward. That's when it hits Jojo. That's when that's when it hits Agent Southerland. And that's when Dr. West and Agent North are like doing their thing, and you're reloading. And now like the first little bit of it is getting past you, and even then you can see like if like the like in Titanic, right? The water's pouring down the thing and sloshing around. So imagine that, but every time it encounters light, it like readjusts its course. So it comes up out of the room, and then like it might dive right, and then see like it starts to sense the light, and then it recoils out from that and starts twisting in another direction.
Does it look like Agent Sutherland? He had to get up this turn, right? That's what he did.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he looks pretty roughed up, but I think this thing's just trying to get out of here. I guess in my moment of aggression, and I'm sure there's plenty of adrenaline going through me, I know the bullets didn't do a lot, but its body doesn't look like it is liquid, it's just behaving like liquid. Could I like take out a knife, try to stab it as it's running, and try to like yank its body? I want to like be as aggressive to this thing as it's running away, stabbing it as multiple times, because I don't know what's actually hurting it or not, but I do know it's running away, and I can't let it get away, because then it could come out of the shadow and kill us.
No, and I like the scientific adjacent mindset of like, I'm just going to conduct a bunch of experiments. Like, what? Those two have PhDs, but I'm not allowed to be a scientist? I shot it, didn't work. Gonna stab it. New hypothesis. I like that energy. I think melee weapons is what you're going to be looking to roll for that.
Okay. Is that unarmed combat?
No, unarmed is just your fists. Melee is in the column in the middle, I believe, on the character sheet you gave.
Right below medicine.
Yes.
Oh, I'm better with just my fist, but that's okay. We'll see how this goes.
You can punch it if you want.
No, I think pulling out a field knife and stabbing it, it sounds like a better.
I feel like punching Jello.
Oh God, be really careful if it's bloody.
Well, I've been covered in viscera already, and I've eaten, Chuck's Don't Fuck burger. So at this point, I don't know what's gonna happen. Except I did get 30 on a 30.
Yeah. Okay. What's the damage on that die? Like 1d6, something like that, or like 1d10?
I don't have that written down, but I can maybe find it really quick.
That's okay, because you're not going to need to roll damage. You have the same kind of experience that you're going to drag the knife into this thing, and like the flesh splits.
I'm trying to yank it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the flesh splits open the way that you think it would, but then it's kind of liquidy in the way that it soothes back up. It's like the Terminator, right? Like with not the first one, the second one, where like you stab it and like it splits, but then it just backs together. And if you're paying close enough attention, even that little bit on your knife, like you peel back and like there's some on the knife, and then it just slides off the knife on its own to get back to like the mommy plasm or whatever it is. I don't know if there's a mommy or a daddy plasm. The two mommies, right? It's the future. In Tennessee, maybe that's why it's causing us a problem, because back to the thing. So you don't do any damage. You watch this thing like rip open, like stabbing into water as it's flowing past you.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was now I have assessed, and I know that I cannot really do anything to this. So good job on the fire. I'm gonna try and figure out something later.
The fire is burning and working, I will tell you that much. And that, I believe, so Agent Sutherland has to get up. Dr. West, Dr. North, you've thrown it. Eastman's right as the thing's turn. So at this point, Agent Eastman, it should come as a surprise to you that having stabbed this thing, it did not like that, and it wants to cause some trouble. Will you roll a dodge roll for me?
Oh, absolutely. That sounds like a thing that I would try to do.
Oh, fuck.
We decided 00. Okay, I got a 00 and a 7.
Okay, that's a 7. Yeah.
Yep, just a 7.
That's good. I rolled a 3.
Oh, that's better.
So the attack is fine, right? The attack, whether or not, like, so I roll the attack, and then, like, if it hits, I'm giving you the chance to dodge for less damage because of being, like, knocked around, the way that it's, like, it's not someone punching you with intentionality, right? It's kind of like flailing these really weird limbs at you. Which is why, in this case, you will not take the full whole nastiness of it. The thing only has a 35% chance to hit, and I rolled under that for both times in this case. So that's 4 and 5. That's 9 damage. Maybe being close enough to it was the not great part. But it's the same way, like, you are going flying, and for 9, it is probably the case that you got knocked, like, back all away from the monster, and then, like, up over the railing down onto the stairs, like, thundering along, because 9 is a shitload of damage. It's almost the maximum you could have taken from this. How many hit points do you have, by the way?
I have a maximum of 10, so...
Okay, you're on the edge of unconsciousness. It's not great.
Nope.
That is its attack for this round, though. At this point, Agent Sutherland, you're back on your feet. Dr. West, Agent North, you're together. This thing, now that you've watched it, you've had more chances to kind of see what's going on. Agent Sutherland was in its way. It knocked him out. Agent Eastman tried to stab it. It didn't like that. It went by. Maybe it hasn't figured out that the fire is, like, your fault per se, or maybe the fire is just causing kind of a different problem, but it's mostly interested in surging away from light, away from Eastman, away from Southerland. Like, things that hurt it, it gets away from. That's what's going on right now. So with that knowledge kind of building in your nugget, what now?
I was hoping the fire would actually do something. Like,
it is.
Something a little more, worthwhile. I don't know.
It's changed the smell in this room dramatically.
I as a doctor, I think my first instinct is to try and help the people who have been hurt. So if Eastman is closer to me, I will rush over to him first and essentially do whatever I can to get him back on his feet.
First aid, I don't think you can do, like, in combat, but I will take that. You can start doing the assist.
I mean, maybe I have, like, adrenaline or something.
What, a needle? It's like the scene in Face Off in the beginning where it's like, or no, not Face Off. It's Sean Connery, Nick Cage, Alcatraz prison, The Rock. Where it's like, take the needle and stick it into my heart. But we'll get there. Yeah, you can start tending to him in that way. Agent North, last one would be on you.
Oh gosh. I mean, it's just okay. So it's fleeing. There was a window that we opened at the top of the staircase. So there's, like, light where it would essentially be.
Would have opened as many windows as I could along the way as well.
Yeah.
And that's why, as it's going, like, down these hallways, like, so you have a door that's open and there's window coming out, so then it comes up over the door and surges across the ceiling, and then, like, there's a different window open on this corner, so it views around that and then spirals out in a different direction. I don't want you to think about this thing in, like, one dimension on the floor like a flood. It is, like, screaming up walls and around and then down, like, spilling down, and like a sentient liquid that has no really care about how gravity works, because it's kind of made of, is the entire thing muscle? I don't know. I wouldn't think about it too much, but it is navigating this building according to those rules.
How quickly does it move?
Pretty fast. You don't
like
think
in
you
a
could
foot
outrun
race?
it. If yeah,
Okay.
no, you could not run it if you wanted to.
Okay, but it has to take a very, like, circuitous sort of
Just-
way around, so it's not like a straight shot.
Yeah.
Can I get? I mean, when we came in, did we notice the windows downstairs?
I'm sure you did. I don't think you had initiated plan open windows at that point.
No, but I mean, like, was it a thing that we would have made a note that the windows downstairs were
I told
definitely?
you the whole building is like as dark as possible.
Okay. Can I go have that not be the case? Would I be able to just run down the stairs and start? Because what I would like to do is try and corral it. Like it's already kind of corralling itself, right? So like if we can get it somewhere else, like if there's like a basement or something, if we could get it into the basement and then maybe more fire.
Set the whole building on fire.
If not some fire.
More fire. Yeah.
More fire.
Because it's not going to go outside, right? And it's going to try and just fit in all of the little dark corners. So if I can try and...
No, I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Dexterity. Let's try that.
Okay.
To see how well you can navigate the area, because at this point, like, it's spreading out, and I use that slime mold thing for a reason. If you see slime mold looking for food, it like spreads out, and when it finds the food, the whole thing kind of slurps over in that direction.
Yeah.
And that is how this is behaving. So individual pieces of it are stretching out, trying to find the no light place, and that's what's going on. You made a face that makes me seem to think the result maybe isn't what you wanted.
I got a 58 out of 55, but can I push it?
Explain to me what the consequence would be if you failed.
The consequence.
I have an idea.
The consequence. Well, okay. So let me tell you how I want to push it, and then I'll tell you the consequence.
Okay.
So my thought is, since it is kind of like rubbery and like a little elastic, I was wondering if I could perhaps use it to get a little bit of extra momentum to maybe like propel me forward if I jump off of it.
I'm going to tell you straight up, you do not want to do that.
Okay.
Because it's the Agent Eastman bit where he stabbed it and he's like, oh, this thing's essentially liquid. Like, you're not going to bounce off. You're going to jump in and then sink.
Oh, okay. Because I thought with like the ballistic gel. Because when I think of ballistic gel, it's a little solid. So that's where I was with that description.
I get that. That's my fault. I was talking.
It's more like oatmeal and less like Jello.
Okay. Well, I mean, even Jello. Okay.
Well, how about we'll say this, right? You can jump, right? And it's going to be risky because you're trying to get past it, and it's currently searching. So you have to dodge it in a way, and we'll just say, yeah, you can push it, but if you fail, it's going to get the attack on you that it would not otherwise.
Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to swallowing you whole, which is what would have happened had you jumped on top.
Great. Much worse than it was before. It's 71. It's not a crit, but it's not any better. So.
You want to trade dice? I rolled a 10.
God.
I feel legitimately bad. This is why I don't play games where the DM has to roll, because like I have such great luck as a DM, and I'll look like, oh, total party kill because I can't stop rolling crits. That's a 15. That's a 31. That's okay, 65. So out of the first 7 times I rolled, they were all under 35 hits. But that means you get to dodge. So let me know how to do that.
Well, if my rolls right now are any indication, 9.
There you go. So instead of 8, you'll take 4.
Okay. All right. That sucks.
And well, I mean, yes and no. In a way, it does accelerate you towards your goal, just perhaps not in the way that you wanted help. In fact, if you want, well, I don't know. Do you want to take? I'll let you say. If you take 2 more damage, you can go through the window and be outside.
I'm on the 2nd floor. That doesn't sound like a fair trade at all.
No, you're running down. You said.
Yes, I am. Okay. Are we?
Yeah.
Are we
So the
talking
dex
like
check.
the window?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
like scrambling down the thing, and it's reaching out for you as you're going by. Because like you're hugging the banister, it's against the wall, and like I said, so the arm bit like slurps in from where it beat the hell out of Eastman, and then comes back and is swinging at you as you're running the stairs, and like so you're like, I'm gonna get down the stairs, and then like the thing comes up behind you, and it's like, the fuck you are, bitch, and smacks you. And then that point, you're like, your momentum's carrying you forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's how the window interacts with this.
Sure, I'll take 2 more damage. Why not?
Okay. Out the window, though, and these are the big front windows. So you wake up on, not wake up's the wrong word. That implies you went unconscious. You end up outside and you're tangled up in the thing and like, oh my God, parts of you hurt that you didn't know you had. But inside, huge beam of light. And then Dr. West, since you're still there, Agent Southerland, I'll say Agent Eastman, this is lucky for you because we can say that is the part of the stairs you've landed on. So this thing is surging towards you, and then you just see this boom bolt of light occupying the stairway. And like, don't take a big deep breath of relief because like your ribs will not appreciate that. But in your head, you can be grateful that you see this thing surging towards you, and the light explodes, and then it just like instantly over the barrier, over the banister, down into the center of the room. Now it is completely exited the back, Dr. West. It's no longer on the first floor. There might be like some little tendrils of it still behind, but they're slurping away. Huh?
You mean the second floor?
Yes, I'm sorry. So it's no longer on the second floor. It has like slurped its way down to the first floor. So Agent Southerland, Dr. West, you're no longer like an immediate harm in that way. And it's gaining speed. Now, it is on fire. You can see the fire like spreading kind of over it. And the more the fire go, the faster the monster move. So now we're back to it. Eastman, you're up on your feet. Agent Southerland, you're kind of coming back to your senses. Dr. West, you realize that like there are some abrasions and things like that, but like mostly this is just the kind of damage that comes when something stronger than strong throws you into a fucking wall. Yeah. So you're looking at some very deep bruising. Both Agent Eastman and Agent Southerland are going to be like real colorful in a couple days, assuming we make it that far.
Yes.
So that kind of takes us to the next part. Your intent is to corral it down, and that much you do know. So what we learned from this encounter so far is that if you don't like actively try to mess with it, you can use light to steer it somewhere. Yeah. So at that point, you should have all the tools you need to get it where you want it to be, right?
Yes.
Cool. So Agent Eastman, you're back up on your feet. Agent Southerland, you're back up on your feet. What do you want to do?
I think I would stand up, and granted that the like immediate threat has kind of ran downstairs, I was hoping I could just take a quick run over to the space where or a quick survey, like kind of glance over my shoulder. I don't know how hard I've been knocked out, but I was wanting to check out the dais like space that it was chilling at to see if there was any papers or any names or any kind of like stationery, and if it doesn't look important, it's free kindling is where I'm going with it. So
well, I mean, it's not like they're keeping the Declaration of Independence here. How fucking important can the county records of this place be?
Right.
To that extent, yes, there's I mean tons of paper around. There's books all over the place, right? You'll notice that like everything is kind of covered in like a little sheen of slime.
Great.
Like snail slime kinda, but it doesn't have the same like color, consistency, or desire to kill you that the protoplasm does. So like that's a plus.
Great.
But you can start collecting things like that. Yes. Agent Eastman, what are you on?
First, I get up, thank you, Dr. West. My mind is still focused on survival. So when I got launched, what happened to my rifle?
Make a luck check.
42.
Yeah, you had the foresight to keep the sling. So like,
okay.
It's still like attached, might have like skittered a little bit away from you, but it did not go flying in the direction. It's within arm's reach.
Perfect. Okay, I grab it. I make sure I have it. I guess I don't know if I'm the only one who's worried of not just this thing, but the people that are outside.
Oh, that is in the back of my mind constantly.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
It's gonna be in the front of Agent North's mind very quickly.
Very soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I know I'm not in good shape I'm not in good shape, and unfortunately, we're probably in an area where everyone has a gun.
We'll come back to that in a second.
My dogs are barking, so excuse me. I think actually what I am going to do, I want to run outside and I want to find Agent North. That's what I want to do.
A good time as any to go over to Agent North. So I'm guessing Agent Eastman's gonna take the window because the door is a little bit dangerous. We lost Jojo from the camera again.
Lose Jojo.
So you go out the window, and then you're hearing from the other side, like Agent Eastman is yelling out, like once he's kind of like collecting himself, saying, "Agent North, sit rep," and you're like, "Sit rep is I'm fucking outside. That's my rep. I'm sitting outside, repped." Yep.
That's exactly it. Yes.
He comes up over the window as you are like finally getting to like not maybe your feet, but you're sitting up and kind of collecting yourself. You'll need to make a luck check to see if you have your weapon, because I think it's going to be an important question here in a little bit.
25.
Excellent. So you are also sufficiently armed, because the next thing I'm guessing is going to come out of your mouth is what's happened to townsfolk, right?
Yeah. Because I assume that angering the big fleshy thing that has the hive mind with all of the people here, probably not a super smart move.
Well, for a given value of smart, right? Depends on what your objective is. And in this case, the group of people hasn't gotten any bigger, which is good news. But there's like a wall of humans that have kind of lassoed around this building, and it's slowly like corralling its way in. So you see just like old men. There's like one of them. It's an old couple that was out for a walk. The kind of people who've been married for like 38,000 years, and like, well, what's the secret? Oh, we just love and respect one another. And then there's a really young family that like maybe a little like, you know, high school prom night was super successful, and like they're there, and like the kid's wearing his t-ball uniform, and the dad's has the, you know, big trucker hat with the beer company logo on it, and the wife is next to him, and all these little pieces of American rural Americana all kind of coming together, and they're walking up like really slow shuffling steps with just like dead empty eyes. No one's home. And the steps are just like consistent around the entire thing. Like when you watch a rowing team and the coxswain's like stroke, and it's all in that kind of unison, just step, 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 from the 95-year-old man to like this, can 6-year-olds walk? I have no concept of childhood development. The youngest child that can walk under its own power, also just like eyes dead, step, step, step. And they're not moving that fast. And it started out, remember, the ring started out on the outside of the street. So it's not a problem you have to deal with like right this second, or even in the next 600 seconds. That's 10 minutes. That's too long. Let's call it 300 seconds. But it will be a problem eventually.
Great. I look at the people. I look at Agent Eastman, and I try and get to my feet, because you know what? If I don't have to avoid the thing inside while I'm smashing windows, it'll be easier to smash the windows. So I'm actually going to grab my rifle, and I'm just going to start smashing windows in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a threat anymore. And given enough time, Dr. West and Agent Southerland, you're the only two that are still in the building at this point, which is a problem you might want to fix before Agent North lights it on fire.
Yeah. I was gonna help Agent Southerland, like, I don't know, gather kindling in a room before we're like, okay, let's go out the window now.
And then Agent North, you're like, you're yelling your plan into the room about like, I'm gonna corral it, get the fire part ready, and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Given enough time and energy, this will happen. And we don't have to go through like the individual steps of it, because that's gonna get like really drawn out. But we know that we have like a timer in the sense of like this human lasso closing in on you. So let's say this, each of you can pick like one kind of like montage-y thing you want to do. And then if everyone succeeds, cool, plan executes on time. If no one succeeds, takes too long. And then whatever happens in between, we'll see what happens in between. So Agent North, will you say do, we'll call it athletics, as you're sprinting around this building, smashing stuff out? Agent Eastman, what would your part of this plan be?
I could probably join in, like, with smashing buildings, like smashing windows.
You go left, I'll go right. Cool. Agent Southerland, you're collecting kindling and stuff. You want to do what we call like a search roll of some kind?
Yeah. But at this, would I be aware of human lasso? I don't think Sutherland is aware of that fact, as we're still upstairs, right?
No, I think so. Just given the amount of time span we're dealing with, it's one thing for Agent North to be like, "We're gonna corral to the basement and get fiery shit," and a whole other thing to be like, "And also, by the way, they're like everyone in the town, including like this kid, he's in his baseball jacket. They're closing in on us in like a big human lasso kind." That takes a little too long for the steps we're talking about.
Cool. So I think we're just looking. I was hoping to grab like I want to get like one of those senseless like yellow books, you know, like that one of those town directories that are just like super thick that you could use as a bludgeoning instrument if you needed to knock out the clerk or something hilarious like that, hypothetically. But yeah, would we looking for some kind of bigger, heavier books and hoping that Dr. West would help me grab some of them, and we'll make our way downstairs. And as I'll inquire after, so I guess we'll just, and he'll start pulling pages out and start crumpling them, like trying to like make like kindling, trying to come up with literally anything as one book falls out of his hands and onto the floor like of the steps, and he's still, you know, holding a bunch of books as he's running down the staircase.
And then Dr. West, what are you up to?
I am also helping with that. Like, probably go for more of run to any kind of desk I see, throw open any of the drawers, grab papers, anything like that, anything in there that might look a little bit flammable.
Why don't Dr. West, you and Agent Southerland make an idea roll? So roll against your intelligence.
That's intelligence times 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 44 out of 85.
I got an 18 out of 8.
Okay, so here's the thing. Fire, yep, great. Little bits of kindling burns super well. You're going to need a slightly bigger fire than that. What you want is accelerants. Where would you find accelerants in a courthouse?
Janitor's closet.
Yes, janitor's closets. So instead of dealing with like, you know, one piece of paper at a time, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go find the like, I don't know, what's like an industrial solvent that burns?
Acetone?
Yeah, like the acetone they use to like strip graffiti off shit is kept in here, and you're gonna go find that stuff. Like the things the federal government, you can't buy it anymore, but they don't go through it fast enough here, so they're still using like the real like the 80s, like one of the reasons people in this county have like a few IQ points missing kind of chemicals.
All the paint's lead based
stuff.
Yeah, I imagine like they have sawdust for picking up like for puke, but sawdust burns really fast.
So that's the kind of thing you're all going for. And I think there's a cute moment where like, I want to say that like Agent Southerland, you're like coming down with a thing of books, and then Dr. West just like points into the thing, and like you turn and you see like it just drops it and starts going to help you.
Yep.
So all these things are coming together. And at this point, yes. So the corralling has worked. It is kind of spiraling all down that direction. But now that you're doing that, because the search roll is easy, I want Dr. West, will you make the dexterity check to see if you can do this without getting appendaged? We'll use that verb.
And that's dexterity or dodge?
Yeah, I'll take either one.
Either one? I didn't put in the whatever of 5, so that's a 52 or 55.
Oh, literally, like I was saying, a little by the hair, but literally by the hair. Like you feel like the fingers, or way too many fingers. I think like all the fingers of all the bodies attached to one hand, and it just like, and it catches that little piece of your hair, and you just feel it, and just as you kind of go forward. I mean, at this point, it has retreated to the basement door is not like it opens up into like a cellar, but there's a secure door to keep kids from getting in. So it's smushing its way through, it's peeling, and that gives you the opportunity, Agent North, to, once you've circled around and met Agent Eastman and you hop into the windows together. Public's really fucking tactical. You're like hut, right? And then you can set this thing ablaze. Before you do that, you know how this thing reacts when you hurt it. So the prudent thing would be to have 3 people who don't need to be setting it on fire go somewhere else and let one person make the risky play by themselves.
Yep, probably.
Are you that brave, Agent North?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We go get the car ready because we're gonna have to make a quick getaway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you are. Yeah, we are.
Okay. So then Dr. West, like, we're going to the car, we're going to pull around, we'll meet you outside, like 45 seconds, and you're like, yeah, lighter, I got this. Bottle of paint thinner.
Yeah, we've strewn the sawdust everywhere, so it's just gonna
Mhm.
go faster.
Excellent. I
Kind of
don't
use it
want,
like a wick.
I don't want to know where you learned how to commit arson, Dr. West. I know where they taught Agent Eastman in government school. But
Look, you bored
I
in
ju-
medical school.
It was an elective for me. It was just bonus. So
What did you take? You took arson. What was the elective you passed on to take arson at CIA University?
Underwater basket weaving, obviously. That's
Obviously,
for
obviously.
yeah, it's for the others.
You say that, but underwater basket weaving is the euphemistic one they put for like how to do underwater demolitions.
Well, that's hilarious.
So you learned how to make it look like an accidental fire instead of how to blow up a bridge underwater.
Fair.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, what I'd like for you is one dodge roll, because at this point you are getting close enough to this whole thing where like it is going to explode out in rage, and one way or another, like something, you're either you both end up hurt or it ends up hurt, but that's going to come down to the result of the dice you're staring at now.
That is 0, 0, 0.
Oh no.
Yeah.
that's not good.
No, that's as bad as it could be, actually. Here's the problem. Yep, you shoot it up on fire. It is exploding outward. Your option to escape through the window is no good anymore, because like, who gives a fuck about light when you're on fire? It is when normally when someone says the phrase fire blanket, what they mean is a fireproof blanket you put on someone who is on fire to smother the fire. In this case, when I say fire blanket, I mean a blanket made of fire, that a sentient eldritch thing wants to put on you.
Mm-hmm.
You only way to escape is to get into the building. Like, as this thing is exploding outward, now the corraler has become the corralled, we'll say.
Yep.
Which means, cool, you can escape. I'm gonna need you from the second floor.
Okay.
Running
right.
up there.
Yep.
Dr. West, Agent Eastman, sup on that end. You by the window and you're like, hey, weird, that sheet of fleshy gray doesn't look like Agent North. What's this next stage of the plan? I mean, Agent Eastman, you probably have the best sense of like contingency operations, but Agent Southerland, Dr. West, we're ready to take suggestions.
I am, if I can't see through the windows on the first floor, I am going to like look up at the second floor.
So it'll take Agent North is pretty fast, so it's not going to take her a ton of time to get upstairs, and also probably the yelling helps. Agent, you're going to head like to that side. It makes sense to me that you would not try to escape on the side of the building where your friends aren't, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So if I know what window she's coming out, I can either have a car right there, or we can get there. So that we can get out of here as fast as we can, and if there's any injuries sustained, I can immediately just jump on it and start helping people.
Well, you were a doctor in the game, but I don't know if you're probably not a doctor in real life. You'd have more important things to do than play video games with us. I don't know what fall damage is in this game. I'm going to call it 1d6. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Okay, so this thing that you have lit on fire is chasing you now. It has no sense of self-preservation at that point. It's going to die either way, and it's going to die by itself, or it's going to die and you're going to die, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. We can both go down.
Yeah.
So,
I know the risks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm heartbroken that you rolled. Okay, anything else, I was like, fine.
I'm so mad.
I know.
It's fine.
Because like what should happen is like, okay, you get swallowed by proto goo, congrats. We'll see you later. Be the 300 solid mystery alone, but that's boring television.
Yeah.
So now you have to make the jump.
Yeah.
Probably athletics.
It's kind of what I was thinking. Fucking here's hoping. Oh, 34 out of 60.
Okay, there's no like super graceful way to land on like a 15-foot drop. But having pastoral will say you take half the damage, so it's 2 as you hit the ground, but you remember from, I don't know, like parachute school to like roll, right? Or how like whatever, like government parkour. No, parkour school is an Eastman thing. They don't teach you how to Jason Bourne at the intelligence school.
No, but you know, it's all about you know, not locking your knees, and just it's about I've done enough box jumps at the gym to know that when you jump off of something, you know, it's about cushioning the landing as best you can. So
oh, let me write that down in my I never do physical activity book. Let's put that down. Which is excellent. So you'll make it into the truck, back into there. Who's driving, Agent West? No, you were getting ready to do some medical care.
Medical.
Yeah.
So
So
it's one of the
Eastman
others.
probably, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be driving.
I mean, love Agent Southerland. Don't know if I would trust him in this moment to drive and be in full control of himself.
I'm sure,
but that would be good television, though. That would be good television.
You know what? Fair. Absolutely fair.
I will let you pick whoever. I mean, Agent Eastman, if it's your attitude, like, no, I'm not going to drive. I'm going to have like my gun ready. I want to be able to shoot things. Agent Southerland,
No, I want to drive.
Okay.
So
then you're the one who has to make the decision, because at this point the lasso has closed enough that the only way you're driving out of here is if you plow through people.
Well, first off, people.
You know the elder thing. You've seen that. These are people. Like, they might be mind controlled people or protoplasm people, but like the amount of rationalization you'll have to do to say it's okay to drive them over is that's what the sanity check is for. To commit the violence against these people and convince yourself, oh no, that's totally fine. They're human beings. They're not human beings. They're mind slaves.
Well, I'm in the back of the car, not paying attention to this, so this is Eastman's problem right now.
It's not your choice, right? I mean, Eastman's the one who makes the call.
I'm first aiding it up.
You can yell at Eastman later about it, but he's the one who has like hands on the wheel, staring at the thing, like foot hovering over the accelerator.
I put my hands on the wheel. I look into the car and see everyone. Put it into drive. Look for the biggest opening I can find, which is probably nothing because they're all circling in. And I go and I look. I'm not even going to say I'm looking for one type of person to run over, because there's no way to choose, right? There's no way to choose who to pick. So I just kind of take a deep breath and I.
We're not going to do the trolley problem right now. We're not going to do the AI driving. You have to hit someone like.
Okay.
There are websites for that. I'll find one. You know what? After this episode's recorded, I'll go look for one, and then right now we can hit like !ethics, and then we'll pop up this test, and everyone in the chat can make their own decision as to who they'd run over.
I like this.
Right now.
I like this.
I'm gonna choose not to even look. Tunnel vision. I'm getting tunnel vision. All I know is that I need to get out of here, and as soon as we hit the road, that's when I'll pull out of my tunnel vision. I don't know who I'm going to hit, and I can't say who, but I'm going to do it.
Sure. Don't need to make a drive check. Running people over is pretty straightforward. But we'll take the sand check to see how well you swallow what's happening to you.
I do horribly. 93 against 54. Excuse me, 55.
So it'll be 1d6.
Why do I have? Oh, this
Don't
is
make
not
it 5
good.
or 6. Don't make it 5 or 6.
Please make
3.
Okay, yeah, so three is good. It feels real bad. But like
I just also want to make a point. I think that I'm at my breaking point.
Yeah, breaking points happen in between scenarios.
Okay.
So it's more for campaign play. Yeah.
Okay.
If it were inside of scenarios, nothing would ever get done in Delta Green.
Okay. So just 3.
Agent Eastman's like, put your seatbelt on, and he just on the mission, tunnel vision forward, like, this is a job, got to do the job, people after.
I like the thought that like all of this horrible stuff is happening and like Agent North like gets in the car and Easton's like, put on your seatbelt, and she's like, dude, let's go. And he's like, I'm not moving this car until you put on your seatbelt, Agent North. Fine, put on the seatbelt.
Passive aggressively put in your seatbelt, and then you hear like the of like a family of 4 rolling up over the windshield, and then you're like, oh, now I know why it's so important.
Oh, sure, I get it. I understand now. I'm with you.
Listen, Eastman's thing is that he knows the world's fucked up, so he compartmentalizes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And putting on your seatbelt is just another thing that makes the world a little bit easier to understand. We put on seatbelts to be safe. I'm going to do a horrible thing now, but at least my team is safe.
At least we're going to be safe as we run over that family.
Yeah, dissociation is not an elective class at the CIA school. That's mandatory for your major. Well, then, aside from that teeny complication, yes, the rest of you can make it in the back through the crowd and out. I will tell you this much, that you can look behind you as you drive, and like there's still just like step walking, so you don't have to go that far to be in like relative safety, and you don't see the eldritch thing like spilling out of the windows. But this place goes up, right? The sawdust trick, the acetone, like that building's burning down. So unless the creature somehow managed to get into a water main, which I can't imagine how that would happen, it should be okay, right?
Okay, but the fact that you just said that, though,
Yeah.
Aaron.
All I know is that Southerland has the phone, right? I mean,
Well,
I'm roughed up, so.
I think we're all pretty roughed up.
Well, but here's what would you expect? I'm going to ask you this: what would you expect if the people here, the human beings, as well, human beings, but we'll come back to that later, if they were being controlled by the Elder Thing, right? And you killed the Elder Thing, and like you have reason to believe, like you did a pretty good job, right? Like the Agent North was intimately personal, like distance wise, with how on fire this thing was. If you killed the Elder Thing, you would expect what to happen to its like mind slaves?
That the mind slaves would stop moving, that they would get their faculties back.
Okay.
Yeah, but
they're not.
We know that there's some stuff in the reservoir.
Mm-hmm. But well, what's controlling it, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking these questions because they don't stop moving. They're still following you. Which raises the question, if the Elder Thing wasn't in control, what was? Or rather, what is? Because when we come back from our break, we are going to realize that there is still a problem to solve in Groversville, and that while you have escaped the immediate peril, the adventure is not quite over.
Yay!
But we'll take a quick 10-15 minutes on our end. Those of you in chat, also stand up, stretch, go get beverages, take care of yourself, and we'll be right back. They are the angels, brought and held together as children by their status as outcasts and freaks. Imaginative and tormented, Thomas has suffered greatly under the care of his foster family. How far would you go for release, for salvation?
Goth culture was the perfect escape for young, rebellious Gabrielle. Now she's traded her innocence for alcohol, tattoos, and an abusive ex.
Michael couldn't fight his way out of that basement, and he's been doubling down on violence ever since. When being strong isn't enough, where else do you go?
Teenage Tarla leaned hard into the outcast persona, using her hair as a mood ring. Now she's buried trauma, and with it, the capacity to love and trust.
Ralph wasn't always a conspiracy-obsessed deep web denizen. What happened that turned a fantasy-loving book nerd into something much, much worse?
Will these bonds hold true when they're reunited for sinister purpose in adulthood? Find out in His Last Hope, a story of lost friendships and childhood traumas for Cult Divinity Lost.
Welcome back. I hope your break was filled with slightly less anxiety than our break. There was not a not insignificant amount of discussion about, oh my God, what do you mean we didn't win? What do you mean we didn't win? Well, you can't win. There's an hour and a half of content left to make. What the fuck do I talk about if you win now? Well, it's not my decision. It turns out that the agents have come to the realization that despite, maybe the most part, besting the Alder thing, that the townsfolk are still under the control of something, that the problem has not solved itself quite yet. Now, if I recall correctly, Agent Eastman, your plan was to get safe enough distance away from the crowds of folks and then kind of like reconstitute the team, get your brains back together, yeah?
Yeah, we need to... I mean, there's a crowd of people back there. Let's not be by the people. Let's go away. To that end, where do we go? Where is safe?
I'm kind of under the impression that nowhere is safe, and that we will just kind of have this like very slowly encroaching group of people until we solve the problem. But distancing ourselves is a good idea. What time of day is it?
When you arove, oh my god, I do this for a living,
rove.
and I just said arove.
Your
Jesus
English is so
Christ.
good, Aaron.
I wanted to say when you drove here and arrived here, and they just came together in the most dumbass way. I'm so embarrassed. When you arrived here earlier, it was coming up about 4 or 5 p.m. Your adventure inside has taken like a half hour or an hour, depending on how slowly you were kind of poking around, how much time you spent talking to the woman at the front desk. So we'll say you're coming up at 6. It'll be duskish soon, like sun's starting to go down.
How
Not
is
like
that?
over the horizon down, but like it's gonna start dipping as you go.
Okay. Because honestly, like the only thing that I can think of at this point is trying to track that signal that we couldn't track earlier because it was still too early, but it still feels like it might be too early. So
That was your plan, really? Yeah, you were going to occupy yourself at the alderman's place just in time for it to get dark, and you could track the signal again.
Yeah.
Still an option on the table. I will say also that you were spot on about the slowly encroaching. No one is running. No one is like even like they're not even walking fast. Like they're like walking as if being puppeted. So it's like literally like 1 step, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 step. So like getting a mile away, I think you can walk a mile in like 12 minutes. So like a mile away would take them a half hour to get to you, something like that. That's how slow they're moving. Now that doesn't mean there aren't like other people. So like if you went to like a cul-de-sac and like, okay, we're escaping the people there. Well, the people in those houses, right? So you'd want to get far enough away from just the population generally to buy yourself some time.
I mean, always head out towards the farms. Less people out that way.
True story. You don't have to pick right now, Agent Eastman. So like we just know that you have a sense of where you want to go. As you approach that place where you may or may not be waiting, and you're going to go try to turn the DF equipment on, Dr. West. Now that you're out of combat, now is a good time to actually be a doctor.
Yes.
So the way first aid works in this game is you make a roll, and if you succeed, the person that you're healing gets 1d4 hit points back. If you critically fail that roll, they lose 1d4 as you botch the treatment.
Let's hope I don't.
Oh,
Well,
God,
first,
that'd be so
before you do
embarrassing.
this, it's very important to know who you are applying medicine to. It had to be Southerland or it had to be North, because Eastman's driving right now.
Which one would look a little bit more? Which one looks like they need it more?
Agent North jumped out of a building
So then
after
Agent
almost
North.
being
Agent
on
North.
fire.
Start with Agent North.
Like hair singed up from where it got too hot, and yeah, like
I got an 11.
that's a critical success.
That's a crit success. That's great.
All
So
right.
what is-
Well, so describe to me. You know her injuries are bruises and contusions and stuff. If you're not a doctor, then feel free to just make this shit up. That's almost as funny as getting it right correctly, medically speaking.
Mhm.
But V,
face
you will
anatomy.
heal 2d4 because it's double the
Sweet.
healing from a crit.
Yep. So you start with addressing, making sure that if there are burns, it's nothing serious. And probably in a first aid kit have some sort of just like anti-burn cream. Apply that, bandage it up. If there are any open wounds, make sure those are bandaged up. Any if needed, like painkillers, and yeah, just lots of gauze, lots of anything other than just maybe there's like one of those like you kind of crack it and it gets cold, like ice pack.
Yeah,
Put that on your
yeah.
shoulder where you
Yeah.
hit the ground.
So what I've taken away from this is that despite the I think the technical term is batshit crazy circumstances, Dr. West is approaching this like with the same energy as like you're watching a t-ball game and like a kid gets hurt and you go through like all the exact by the book, do all like Boy Scout first aid, not crazy Delta Green first aid, but like just you were treated into actual medical school brain for a while.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out. That precision, critical success. Congratulations. How much did you heal, Agent North?
7 hit points, which is
Oh, that
great.
Puts you pretty much back up to full, yeah?
Yeah, I'm 1 off. Yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
can't take away some of that internal bleeding, but
No, it's gonna be a little sore for a bit. And weirdly, gauze, broken ribs, not really a an equal fix, but
yeah, well, you can at least stabilize and stuff. You have like a cool like gauze corset on now.
Yeah, something just to keep everything in place.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Logan's face. Then
I don't know what to say.
the second roll you would make would be for Agent Southerland. So going through your set of equipments.
Yeah, that's a 46.
Okay, so it's not critical. You'll get 1d4 back, but at this point, she used the good snappy ice pack on Agent North.
Yeah.
So like you're getting the dregs of the equipment.
Yeah, there's I don't know, maybe there's a really cold bottle of water. It's just like, hold that.
Also, like Agent North's encounter with physics was voluntary and like based on being able to roll away from a thing. Agent Sutherland's experience with physics was being eldritch bitch slapped across the courthouse into a hardwood wall. So slightly different levels of injury that we're discussing. So that process together, those things take like 10 to 15 minutes each. So we're talking 20 minutes or a half hour of driving. That's enough to get you pretty far out of the city. But you're also operating the DF equipment, which would be Agent North. So that first time you're still in the city, you made it out into the city limits where it starts to kind of thin out into agricultural area. Like maybe there's still the feed store and the gas station, but it's starting to get proper farmy. I think that's the technical term for it. So why don't Agent North, we'll say this, can't do it when you're moving. You have to be stationary to get the measurements. So this would be a good point, I think, for Agent Eastman to pull the car over, let Agent North do her work, and then for Dr. West to use the remainder of the first aid equipment to see if she can put Eastman back together again.
Sounds good. What is do you want me to make a roll for the equipment?
Sigint.
Great. That's what I was hoping you would say, because I rolled a 45 out of 50.
Yeah, Sigint, signals intelligence is what that is short for, and you are doing intelligence with signals. So yeah, you get a good strong reading. Well, not like strong in the sense that like the signal is strong, but you're able to discern. It starts, we can hear it at night. It might be happening, maybe it's solar radiation that blasts it out during the day. I have no idea, whatever. So yes. Also, did I forget to see how much Agent Southerland healed back? I think I did.
I dropped it in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt your beautiful voice, but I rolled the 3.
Hey, 3 is pretty good on a 4.
Mm-hmm.
But again, those injuries, you're gonna need some time just to
concussed.
On the other hand, if you wanted to heal faster, protomatter. I'll let you make that decision later.
Heard it does a body good.
We can ask Agent Eastman about it later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's not helping me a damn bit.
You don't know that. Maybe Aaron's gonna come up with some fun little thing.
I'm super upset that you pulled that out from under me.
Eastman hulks out.
As Dr. West goes to heal the injuries, Dr. West, you are a medical professional. You saw what happened to Eastman. Bones don't heal that fast. Either one of two things is true. Either Agent Eastman got like flung down a flight of stairs by the same creature that like beat the shit out of Southerland, right? You've seen what this thing can do. Either he managed to do all of that without getting injured and then just put some like really cute bruise makeup on his arms, like, oh look, I have a 7-day-old bruise, haha, I'm so injured. Or something is stitching his body together at with a speed and alacrity that cannot be explained.
I mean, I already did the test on him earlier.
It can be explained.
Yeah, I already knew that there was like, it's the protomatter. And, seeing this and just being like, well, that is a little bit concerning. This moves a little faster than I thought. Have you been feeling any different?
As I asked that, Agent Eastman, you have a pretty good sense of of your body, right? Like you're the kind of guy who knows how much muscle he's put. Yeah, okay. So, where did those like extra 4 pounds come from? Do you imagine?
It just feels like it's going in like maybe my lower back. Something weird's there.
Yeah,
something's weird. It's like in that area, and I kind of reached down for that just to feel that.
Yeah. Adipose tissue would be the correct answer. Because you've noticed you haven't had to excrete, right? Dr. West, I will give you this explanation that you can then communicate if you make a successful medicine roll.
Okay.
Else, you're just going to have to be like, fucking magic, man. I don't know.
I would assume it was the food here, but then again, there's enough grease in it. It should have helped things out.
He ate a really unfortunate portion of
Totally fine, but okay, Miss Macros, how many calories are 1 pound of fat?
2,000?
A little more.
Correct? 3,000.
Well, a little less.
2,500?
Like 24, 25, I think.
25?
It's more than 2,000, less than 3,000. So how many are in a regular burger, right? Like 800 to 1,000, right?
Depends on the burger.
Point is, for him to have gained 5 pounds, he would have had to have consumed 10,000 calories with 0 metabolic activity, right? Which is like not possible.
You described the burger.
Yeah,
we were
but
all there.
there's no way you could keep like 10,000 calories of that would be the whole. This isn't like a Texas if you eat it it's free contest. There's no way he'd be able to keep all. You weren't there for an hour while he just like plunged it down into his gullet. He said he had a normal amount of a meal and then kept some left over. Dr. West, what was the result there?
I was going to ask if you needed me to roll for medicine.
Go ahead, yeah.
39.
39 is excellent. So, you know a couple things from Agent Spivey. He did not urinate. He did not defecate. And what do we know about protomatter? The way that it replaces all of your body parts. Maybe not all of them, though. Certain little pieces of them. So it stands to reason that the protomatter might be turning the body into something more efficient. Certainly strong enough to punch. You've seen the way the muscle mass works. What if the protomatter were interacting with human tissues in a way that increased their efficiency, right? So if you're used to, if you normally need like 2,000 calories to like run your body for a day, but I replaced your body with a shitload of protomatter, and now you only need like 70 or 60% much food. What if I made your digestive system so efficient that it did not create waste products, that you didn't need to poo because it can make absolute use of every single protein, every single carb, what are some of the other ones? Help me out here. Like all the macros are getting pulled out of the food. Like there's never going to be corn in there again, because we can finally break down like the shell and stuff like that. And when your body is that efficient at pulling nutrients out of food, especially the kind of food you were putting into it, that calorie has to go somewhere, right? And where does the body store its extra calories? In the new, like it's kind of around your whole like midsection.
Yep.
Yeah, like in the back.
I'm getting like Eldrick love handles is what you're telling me.
Yeah, no, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay.
Cthulhu has a dad bod confirmed.
Yes. And yeah, I will.
I also wasn't this hairy. How do you explain that?
I will pretty much explain this as I am looking over Eastman, and then just after the whole thing, just go, I'm so sorry.
I kind of, again, compartmentalizing everything. Like, okay. I look at Dr. West and I look at Southerland. I don't even look at Agent North because I know if something goes south, she will put a bullet in my head. And I just look at him. You know what happens. If you need to do it, do it.
Well, Dr. West, before we complete the conversation, there's one tiny small thing that I wanted to mention to you that you can spot because you're a doctor and no one else will. But I want you to think very carefully about this before you decide to share it or not. You've seen what a surgical scar looks like over a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah.
You'd be able to identify them on a human body pretty easily. You would be able to identify the ones on Agent Eastman's back pretty easily. And they are remarkably clean incisions. Normally, like when you're doing that kind of thing, you see the scars kind of like waggle a little bit, right? But no, this flesh has been melded up just like a zipper. But it is obvious that there's been some kind of surgical activity going on. Now, I don't know your backstory with Agent Eastman, but I'm assuming that you didn't have a super close personal relationship where you would have seen him in his delicate states. So you don't know if he has had some kind of operation, but if he did, it would have been one of the most medically impressive high-tech things you've ever seen. Well, when you think about that, right?
Yeah.
Agent Sutherland's in the car. Agent Sutherland has the phone. Agent Sutherland knows the rules. So whatever you say, he will hear. And like, you are going to count on two things. One, that telling Agent Eastman is the correct decision. And two, Agent Sutherland can hear that without dialing drone a friend on the fucking telephone.
I think that I will look around, and like, are we just parked on like the side of a road?
Yeah.
Side of a road.
Maybe let's give it some flavor. Say there's you pull over like one of those like roadside fruit stands.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no one manning it, but you can see like the shed where they would have had the stuff up for display. There's nothing there now, but like, yeah, the kind of place that like farmers would sell tomatoes to passersby, that kind of thing.
I will sort of just walk over to like one of the fruit stands, and then sort of set my bag down on it like I'm looking for something, and then I'll like gesture for him to come over just far enough away that I'm pretty sure that they won't hear if we just speak in a normal tone. And I'm just trying to look like I'm looking for something in my bag.
Agent Eastman?
Is Dr. West, are you trying to get my attention?
Yeah. It's
okay.
yours.
For some reason,
Uh-huh.
I heard he, and I wasn't sure if it was me or Sutherland for some reason. Okay, I go over.
Yeah. And I'm looking through my bag, and I'll just say softly, I don't know if you always had those medical scars on your back. Not my business if you did or not, but the work is a little too clean. One would expect if it was a person that they wouldn't be as perfect as they are.
And also, by the way, your body fucking fixed itself in the time that it was to drive from the thing. But you already knew that part.
Yeah,
so
they explained that part as well. The fact that you're fine pretty much. You might be a little stiff, but whatever things this proto-matter or whatever it is, I'm so sorry that this has happened, and I don't know what you want to do about this. Right now, you are on our side. You are working with us. And so I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt for now. Which is why I brought you over here, because I know Agent Southerland has the order that if any of us are like this, he makes the call. It's a drone strike, you're all dead.
If I'm too much of a threat, you guys take me out. That's all it is. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know how fast it's going to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, waiting for something I don't know about, it's not my style. So here's the deal. I don't remember that. And he points to the scars on his back at all. I'm not trustworthy. I do anything anything, shoot. Don't ask questions.
This is an out of character question. Would I, from just what I know so far, know anything about, like, say if I have certain things in my medical kit that in high doses can kill someone? Would I have any idea that would that work on Agent Eastman?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like you can do damage with a lot of different common medical items. It's not wouldn't be like a pretty or pleasant kind of death. It's not like a just quietly go into night death. It's like a here, eat this, and then we're all gonna put earplugs in death, or like here, take this, and then like over the next 4 days, your body. Well, maybe who fucking knows with proto matter?
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering if like, if say I have something like morphine.
Oh, sure, yeah.
If in enough dosage could just be like, I maybe promise to make it painless as I can.
Assuming that the proto matter hasn't grown him a second heart or something. Yeah,
and that's what I'll do. I'll pull up the bottle of morphine from my bag and saying, I would much rather not shoot you. After all of this is over, you can make the choice. Injecting most of this bottle will be like going to sleep.
That's assuming a lot, Doc. I'll take your word for it, but I mean this. If I need to go down, I need to go down. I don't want to put that evil on you, but I don't want to put evil out in the world.
Yeah. And comes to a point where, you know, when you become a doctor, the whole do no harm. You don't want to shoot anybody. I was giving you this out for after this is all over, because I would much rather not make this call right now.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You have a plan. I appreciate that. Backup plans are great. But we'll see how it happens. I just don't want you to hesitate.
And when it comes to it, I hope I don't. And I hope that if it comes down to it, Southerland doesn't. I know North won't, so.
I completely understand that.
I don't like the juxtaposition of this conversation happening, but in the car, like in the back, like Agent North is opening up all this really expensive looking equipment for direction finding, and Agent Southerland just like, well, now that I'm not, like bleeding out of all my orifices, and he's looking like, what's that do?
Yeah,
what
100% was about to happen. I'd be like, so what's this one?
This one, it finds the signal. Obviously, it uses it. You have to like find the frequency. That's what the knob is for. Can you just give it back?
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm helping. I just want. Okay, I don't know. I'll put it. It's yours. It's yours. I'll just be quiet.
Yeah.
And then like 2 seconds later, hey, but what about this one? It came unplugged. Is that important?
Yes. Why did you unplug it exactly?
I found it like this. I found it unplugged. I maybe stepped on it. So it's a tripping hazard. And when we're running for our lives, you'll be thankful that none of us are going to trip on it.
Okay, well, one of us has already run for their lives today. So can you go ahead and just grab that wire right there and just
put
it back in for me? Thanks. Try not to step on any other tripping hazards, okay?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
My step.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
You've never said thank you to me before. I feel like we're making progress.
I've known you for like a day.
Small steps. And he plugs it in.
Needle starts waggling again. You're like, oh my fucking god. Thank God Agent Northface
Why?
is facing the computer monitor and not Agent Southerland.
Why couldn't Agent Southerland be the one affected with protomatter that I might have to shoot?
Oh my God. Putting an F on your report card works well under pressure.
Great under pressure. I think the F works well with others.
Well, works well with others, right? Yeah.
I work great under pressure. Did you see that jump out of the window? That was
did.
great.
I'm honestly shocked you have not died.
You know, me too. Me too.
So that gives enough time for Dr. West and Agent Eastman to return. Put your poker faces back on. Shouldn't be hard. Agent Eastman only has a poker face. He got rid of his human face, well, depending who you ask, either at the university or just a couple nights ago. Depends. But for whatever it's worth, what do you know about the way that photomatter affects people so far? There's the physical side of it, and then there's the mental side of it. But even if this place has been infected forever, you've talked to plenty of normal people, right? And like the woman who at the front desk was kind of dumb, but like not like robotic puppeteered, and certainly not Chuck, certainly not the woman at the front desk. I just threw a D10 across the room because I gestured like that. I'm gonna take that in a second. Yep. You've got
but then there was the girl at City Hall.
Yeah, but I'm saying she was not bright, but like not like in an automaton kind of way.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how you kind of sold her to us.
Yeah, I think it was. We said we don't have an appointment. She's like, "Oh, we can." We walked out. We walked back in. Said we have an appointment. She went, "Okay."
Yeah, but that's what I mean by dumb.
Okay, like what? Can I ask your name? And we're like, no, and then just kept going. That's not to me. That's somebody who's very like. It's not even not bright. Like that's far too nice.
She was not like. Total like shine a light into her eyeball, see the back of her skull, walking like the people who were lassoing it around is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, well no, but I feel like I could still I feel like I could still shine a light through her eyeballs and see the back of her head, but it's slightly different reasoning.
There's different phases to this, if that's how it works, right? So the fact that Eastman is lucid, if you took all this in a kind of a spectrum, there would eventually be like Eastman and then like Eastman, but like a little sympathetic to whatever's going on here. Then there would be brain empty Eastman, and then there'd be robot Eastman, right? If that's how this worked. But we can worry about that when we need to worry about that. In the meantime, the thing about direction finding is you can't just take one reading, because that just gives you one single point. It's a line, and it says, well, yes, it can be anywhere from here in that direction for the entire curvature of the Earth. You need a second line of bearing to actually intersect, which means you're going to need to drive based on the direction this is coming from. If you imagine that like the road is the 0 point on this compass, your bearing is coming off at like -3 or -4. So it's you're going to need to drive quite a ways up this road and then wait to see where it snaps over or to go back if you want to get that handled. But that you have enough information, Agent North, to give Eastman driving instructions if Eastman is going to continue to drive.
At this point, I need to know everyone trusts me to drive.
Only one person here, two people here knows the truth. You know, and Dr. West knows. If you decide not to tell Agent North and Agent Southerland, you would not be the first Deltarine agents in human history to lie to their teammates. Yeah, no,
I think I'm still necessary for the mission, so I don't want them to start taking me out right now. So I'll go for the door, and I'll kind of look at Dr. West and go like eye contact, trying to see what her feelings are.
At the moment, I also yet again see you as incredibly important for the mission. Especially because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to fight, and at the moment, you are the second best fighter we have. Really, you and North are pretty tied in it, and like I've got some points and guns. I am but my thing will probably be standing between you two and Southerland, just so that it has to go through me before it gets to Southerland, because yet again Southerland will probably fold like a wet paper towel.
I feel so
Aw.
bad for your character, Jojo. Like everyone just is so mean.
No, we're not.
But
So
I'm just doing it to protect him.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You guys do what you gotta do. Shit on the
So
new guy.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
At least until this is all over, and then I will
Okay.
say my piece.
Every Delta Green operation has one guy who's like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, why did they call me? I'm an anthropologist. Why am I here?
Yeah, did you see me throw that fire extinguisher though? That was awesome.
That
I'm
was
sorry.
That's
say
why
no?
we called him.
Did I say anthropologist? I meant manthropologist.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
That
so
that needs to be
bad.
clipped. That needs to be clipped
That was
though.
so
For
bad.
real.
I'm thrilled. I'm
Um,
living.
So you will make this drive, and I mean, I can't imagine Agent Eastman's going to be particularly talkative about it. Dr. West also probably going to be a little about things. Agent
I
Sutherland.
imagine Sutherland is just asking questions still, and I'm just like,
Definitely.
it's the the thing, and you're like, no, I don't, and I'm just like, oh my god, and it's just like fucking direction finding 101 in the back seat.
Which is a great class to take. It's
Yeah.
super interesting to know how like different communication networks work. Two things that are important. One is that you need two lines bearing, and the second, as we talked about last time, is the inverse square rule, where it continues to take an exponential amount of power to go a simple multiplicative amount of distance. So the signal, if it's at like 1 on your meter, meaning very, very far away, when it would get to 2, that actually means you've closed more than 1/10 the distance. Does that make sense? So like when it gets to 6 or 7 or 8, like to get to 10, you kind of feel like right on top of the thing, which is going to come in handy as you navigate. Make one more SIGINT roll for me. I want to see if you nail this one on the money or if you overshoot it a little bit. Well, you're muted, but I can
Oof.
see the pain on your face, so
Yeah, well, I almost dropped the dice, and so I re-rolled it. I think I got my lefts and my rights confused because I've given Agent Eastman the wrong directions because I rolled a 66.
Oh no. Yeah, well, you blow it. I'm not sure why that is the case, but like it ends up going like obvious human error that you might not want to admit in this moment.
You know what? It's probably because Agent Sutherland was fucking with all of my fucking gear. He was just messing around with stuff, and obviously like the calibration's off, and you know what? Honestly, it's on me because I didn't check it after he messed around with it. And that's just, it's human error. It just happens sometimes.
But he was actually listening and did it right, and he's a good boy, and you're just projecting your insecurities, but he'll take the fall.
Wow. Wow.
I've never heard B called out like that personally in a game before.
Yeah, I'm not it was fun while it lasted. Jojo said I will never get to play a game with you ever again. Thank you.
It's a social science.
Well, you will eventually find a place, right? Because once you've realized your error, you're like, wait a minute, this is pointing the wrong direction. But it is a matter of time. And because you made that mistake, it's going to be dark by the time you actually find where you are looking for. Because when it comes time to pull off the road to the correct place, you are near one of the many, many farms in the area. And it's not a needle. That's not how this works. But the equipment is directing you towards a line of bearing that appears to be within like a circular probability error of a small farm compound. So once you have the first line and the second line crossed, the computer says it's somewhere in this circle, because there's just always like fuzz and atmospheric stuff. And based on that, you look at that circle and you say, okay, well, what's here? Because if it were like a giant ass radio antenna, you could go, yes, thank you, circle, I found the thing. But when you're looking for something a little more sophisticated, you have to say, okay, well, would it be in a building? Would it be hidden in a shed or something? And based on that circle of probability, you can narrow it down to a farmhouse. And then there's a barn. There's a couple equipment sheds, and then there's some heavy duty like vehicles around, including it's feasible you could put something like this in the back of a truck, right? Like a semi-truck trailer. Those are all within a couple hundred yards of one another, which is about what your error is. You know better than to just drive right the fuck up to this place if it's full of like, I don't know, like elder terrorists or whatever. But you do not have light on your side anymore. It's quite dark. But whatever
comment on how dark it is, it's fine.
Whatever this is, that is the direction. Ancient Southerland, you did have the map earlier from before, the county map though. Yeah, so you could tell me whose house this is, right?
Yeah. If we're in the right place, he kind of points at the map. Goes, I think this is Meryl's barn.
Go like 2 houses down.
Other way.
Flip the map upside down.
Look,
my bad.
You crit failed, not him.
I know. I feel so bad about the crit.
Now
fail.
you're gaslighting him.
I am.
I'm looking for the other map.
Once Ancient North just like quietly tries to hide her own failure in the map, it is not the Meryl barn that you're pointing at. This is the Allen farm.
Got it. I turn it right side up. Goes, Allen. Okay, now we're this is it. No, good job. We did it. Everything's fine.
Allen as in Jane Allen?
I mean, how many Allens can there be in this town?
Yeah.
Well, depends on how far the apple falls from the tree.
Do you believe in coincidences at this point?
No. We're Delta Green.
There you
no
go.
such thing as coincidences.
So, is it the Virginia Allens who just moved to town? Is it their farm? Well, that would be weird. Or
right
is it the
moon.
house of the woman who is missing and the man who was turned into a sentient slime mold?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, this is not favorable, but it seems to be in the right direction.
What do we think is the best plan for this?
It's dark.
Do we want to maybe check anything that is not the house first? Maybe it's in the barn or something.
I want to check the barn first, absolutely.
Yeah, the barn.
It's a little bit more open, I'm assuming, than a closed door house. So if we need to get out of there, we can. So.
As you have these thoughts, I'm going to try to find that D10 real quick.
Okay.
Do we, in case, we find something, do we want to run like to the car, or do we want to like run to the house in case we have to run? Just putting it out there, since we ended up having to run last time. I feel like planning of a tactical retreat could maybe work for our survival.
Well, if I'm being honest with you, I'm not 100% sure that the whole light trick will work again, given the darkness.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe fire can be on our side again, and I know we've got some flashlights, but if
barns are usually full of hay, and hay is usually pretty flammable.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever this is, it's usually it's probably not the type of thing that we can run away from. So worst case, we'll have to take it out however we can.
I've been thinking about its the last thing that we ran into, its body, and I don't know, I feel like maybe if we found like a bag of like manure or composting, just something that we could maybe throw onto it that will help slow its watery kind of body or form down, maybe clump it up a little bit. If maybe like I don't know, like something that maybe we can just kind of bog it down a little bit, that might be helpful. Bonus points if it's flammable. So maybe we can find like a I don't know, a bag of composting maybe around here,
Fertilizer.
something like that. Yeah.
Fertilizer, yeah.
Well, before we go too far down the rabbit hole of solving the problem, let's figure out what the problem actually is. I didn't hear any objections to the go to the barn first plan, right?
Barn is probably good, and then I it's either barn or house. Those two seem like the best places. Are there any lights on in the house?
No.
What's the barn situation? Like, is there a wide open door, or what's going on there? Okay.
From this distance, what you can tell is the house is pitch black. Everything is like sealed shut. The barn doors are closed. Like the hayloft door is closed. Like the house is completely dark. But like, if you had binoculars and it was daytime, you could tell the things were open or not. But at this point, like, is the window blacked out or is it just dark? Who knows? But there are no signs of movement, no signs of activity, no signs of light coming from anywhere around here.
Well, unless anyone objects, I'm gonna park by the barn.
You're gonna drive up.
Yep.
It's probably our best bet.
I object.
Okay.
We probably shouldn't get near it. We should probably park away from it and then walk.
Or at least close enough that we can get to it in a quick run if we need to book it out of here.
It's a trade-off. Whatever's in it, do you want to take the chance that they can hear you driving close enough to be like safe to leave, or do you want to have a hard time running away if things go wrong, but then also not alert what is inside it to your presence, perhaps? Which is more important, the element of get the fuck out if we need to, or the element of surprise?
Element of surprise.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. With Delta Green, like, the end objective is to stop whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
In my mind,
escape alive is way down the list of Delta priorities.
in my mind, there is no escape. Like, if we are running, like, I'm gonna take this thing out and whatever that means, you know. And if I die, I die. But that's the name of the game. So for me, it's sneaking. It's element of surprise.
Then we shall allow you to sneak up. Two of you should have absolutely no problem stealthily approaching a house. Two of you, not in your skill set. I mean, maybe Agent Southerland has a bit of a pad foot from having to like creep around archaeological sites. I mean, obviously not being safe around cabling inside of a car, but I assume there's some part of you that like, I don't know enough about anthropology, archaeology to be like, would you know how to like navigate a dig site without being a chud, right? And I think the answer is yes, or else you wouldn't be an archaeologist for very long.
Yeah, just a little enough basic care to, despite his personality, not be a bumbling buffoon. Because I mean, you can't break your artifacts, right?
Does Agent Southerland still have his gun?
He does. It was a light handgun that was given to him.
Okay. And Dr. West, are you armed up again?
Yes, I still have my gun.
Excellent. Approaching it, it's still like eerily, uncomfortably still. Either this place is abandoned or it feels like an ambush. Agent Eastman, you would have the best sense of this. Agent North, slightly less, but still, like, there's no way this is good. The only way that things are this quiet is if they know you're coming and are ready to ambush you, or if you're in the wrong place, but you can't be in the wrong place, well, except for that part where she fucked up the equipment. But once you got back on track, you know this is the right place. That sense of foreboding doom is no doubt made worse when you get close enough to the actual kind of like farm complex to see that the house windows are open. They're not sealed up. It's just dark and empty in there. And as you creep up to the barn, your thought's going to be like, find a window, find a door or whatever. But as you try to peer into the first window you find, all stacked up along the side of it, moving quietly, are you familiar with what spray insulation looks like? Like the expanding epoxy foams? So that is around the first window and the second window and the third window. And in fact, every possible point of entry on the first floor of this place, if you chose to walk around, is sealed with this kind of foam insulation stuff.
As I see this, is there like a shed that I can see as well?
Yeah, it's a farm. Like, there's cabbages around.
I'm going to like lean into whoever's closest to me and be like, they might have gasoline for like a tractor or something in the shed over there, and I'll point it out. That if we have that and this is the correct place, we can definitely use that kind of accelerant to make sure that this barn burns.
I know this. Logan does. I don't know if Agent Eastman does, but I'll say it. I think he could. This stuff, I don't know if you know that foam accelerant. This foam stuff is very combustible.
I was thinking we make a trail from the door and then we burn it from like 10 feet back.
Well, let me be slightly more precise. The foam looks a lot like the kind of industrial filler foam that you're used to.
Oh, Aaron.
What possible thing could have leapt into your head just now that I definitely did not say or insinuate?
No. I'm just like, oh God, no, because it's so much worse.
Okay.
Yep.
I was afraid I'd stepped on another landmine somehow.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. And if you were curious enough to try to like scrape some off onto a knife to investigate, you would find that you cannot scrape it. Like something a little fancier than that.
Fancy.
Well, I like the gasoline idea.
Yeah.
And
there's probably other flammable things in that shed too.
Are you going to head off there now?
Yes.
Because what you've learned so far is there's no way into this barn on the ground floor, like, period. So if you're going to just stay outside and let it on fire, that's like a plan that I'm totally okay, whatever.
I think that's the plan
that's what
I
yeah.
am going to. Where we're like, this barn looks suspicious, so it's gonna go.
Sus as hell. Absolutely.
Let's just assume that a lot of crazy shit has happened, and this foam shit is right par for the course. What worked last time when crazy shit happened? Does everyone remember?
Fire.
That is fair.
I remember.
Right. Yeah, no, you do have a probable cause. Like, no, there's a weirdness shit happening here. Yes.
Burn.
Not all barns are suspicious, just the ones that are like filled with foam that we can see that is weird.
That is definitely not foam. Yeah.
I would like to know who is going to the shed. Is it just Dr. West?
No, never go alone. I can either go or Doctor or Agent Eastman can go, but I think it should be one person who can handle a gun and one person who may not be so great at handling a gun. So,
yeah, I am okay with either.
It doesn't matter to me. Just whoever goes, make a stealth check, please.
Okay, I will go. After the car, I will leave Agent Eastman and Agent Southerland to talk about whatever it is they're going to talk about.
You know, I would like to think that Agent Southerland knows that he can read the room and isn't going to be like, so what do you want to do after this? Like, do you want to go get another chuck burger?
I got a 36 out of 70.
I got a 21 out of 30.
Okay, so you managed to make it over there all in one piece, without causing too much trouble. And then I have to call it search because I don't actually know what's in this thing. And maybe it's full, maybe it's not. Maybe it's empty, maybe it's been abandoned. I don't know. So make search rolls to see if you can find what you're looking for.
Both of us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 29 out of 60.
17 out of 40.
Okay. So you'll find enough of what you need to burn the place down. Whatever kind of chemical that is. You're probably not going to find like acetone, wrong kind of barn. I think OSHA says you have to store fuel in certain kinds of containers, but I also think Groversville, Tennessee is the kind of place where they don't let OSHA look around.
Yeah, they probably just have like the giant, like really old, rusted gas can that just has gasoline on it.
Yep.
I'm also
it's
wondering
red,
if
it has
OSHA
a spout.
has.
It's great.
I'm also wondering if OSHA has authority on like private farms, but
That's a question. I'm betting some of those things really, if it's over X number of employees, then yes or whatever. But regardless, you're able to find like your whatever the fucking, it's the equivalent of like a moonshine jug full of gasoline, right? That level of technology. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah, so you'll manage to make it back. Your plan at that point is to just like start at one end and then like going around. Like, where are you dispensing this?
I mean, my thought was just completely, around the perimeter, right? If we find one can, then start where we're all kind of congregated and just make a loop.
Yeah, circle around the thing, light it up.
If there's enough gas for that, if not, just do it like a yeah.
I'm not super concerned about like the amount of fluid, just like where you're going.
Because I guess my worry is that if we just do it in front of the door, it's gonna like leave out the back.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. If it's the same kind of thing. So if we circle around the whole thing and put as much as we can around so that the fire surrounds the barn, it doesn't have anywhere to go.
Sure. I will remind you, the entire place is locked with some kind of super foam. So unless whatever the thing is, it can break out of that. And again, we're assuming something's in there because you haven't looked.
No, that's true. We haven't looked. I'm also kind of assuming that the foam is just part of the thing or like a thing from the creature. So
I'm at the worst point. I think it's a cocoon situation.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh,
that's
that could be.
It's even worse.
You see what you just, neither one of them had thought of that, and you could see their eyes being like, oh no, in real time just then.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to make a sand check now because that just entered my brain. Thank you.
Well, yes you do, but not for that reason. Because enough time has passed over the course of this. There are two ways that really the thing that is happening now can happen. And one is you set it off, and two is just enough time passes. But Agent Southerland, you did field work, right?
Yeah, sure did.
And you probably did it somewhere that doesn't have like the American like industrial desire to like destroy winged insects, right? Like not the kind of place like Florida where they spray DDT on everything.
No,
right?
It would be like Guatemala or something. That's
yeah, so
very jungly, very insecty.
Yeah, with dragonflies that have like wingspans to rival helicopters and that kind of thing. Okay, so I want you to just put that thought in your head, right? So like you plug the cassette tape of that insect in your nugget, and now I want you to turn it up like really, really, really loud.
Okay. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, and it's a nightmare that's happening within like 10 or 15 feet of you. And then it starts kind of at ground level. It starts at Agent Southerland level. And then it goes up. And you are the ones who, everyone hears it now. Agent Southerland is the one that's going to kind of like resonate with. If you follow this sound up to the top of the barn where it starts to follow, I want you to, let's start here. Think about like a shrimp, right? Like a shrimp, and it's curled and it's got back shrimp and front shrimp, right? And at the top of shrimp, there are gigantic insect wings, like 5 or 6 feet on each side, beating just as fast as this proverbial dragonfly. And on the back of shrimp, there's 5 or 6 or 7 insect-like legs. I love that you've got it with the hand signal. This is amazing. Call it 3 pairs of legs kind of dangling there. In front shrimp, where the normal front shrimp claws, not T-Rex arms, these are front shrimp claws, very long hooked appendages, definitely arms. And at the front, instead of like a face or do shrimps have faces? I think they do. They have to, right?
But they've got those beady little eyes.
do.
They have
Yes.
eye
Yeah.
stalks.
Okay, this doesn't. This has it's more like the shape of like a long arrowhead, almost like maybe you took like a, I know what it looks like, and I'm trying to think of something that looks like it, and I'm not coming together. But the point is, the front of the head, it slopes and tapers together if you have like the kind of like a shoehorn almost, right? That kind of like smooth sloping to a front. Everything behind the head, chitinous. Wings, wingy, but everything else very like insect-like and has that hard kind of resin shell. But the front of it, it's this blue glowing thing, and they're little they're little tendrils. They're not eye stalks, but there's little wriggling tendrils all over like the front crest of this creature, or should I say these three creatures, because there are in fact three of them. I'm going to ask you all to roll sand, and then while you do that, I'm going to show you the image sitting here that will give you a better sense of what you're seeing.
I got a 38.
Oh,
I got a 7.
I had a 67.
62 out of 72.
Everyone passed, so you take 0.
Great.
I know that none of you are familiar enough with alien technology to really get a sense of what is happening with these creatures, but you are familiar enough, some of you, with firearms technology to know a gun when you see one. And those of you who are not familiar with that kind of weapon, to understand what a weapon is, are going to figure it out pretty soon anyway. So we're going to go in initiative order. These things have a dex of 15. Who has higher than 15? Nobody. So first things first that happens is like these things come streaming out, and there's definitely a moment where like they are about to go do something else. And then a sensory thing. It's not that they see you. They don't have eyes, but they have sensed you somehow, and now their attention turns in your direction. Dr. West, Agent North, you were the ones who were moving the equipment, so I'm going to assume it's one of you, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Agent North, as you are going around on your edge of it, you are creeping along. This thing happens. The blue, glowing, bioluminescent, chitinous tendril plate for a face turns in your direction, and then it raises this device at you. And suddenly it's not like just
have guns.
It's not like night air
guns.
petrichor that you smell. It is ozone, but only for a second before an arcing, crackling bolt of lightning leaps out the front of this weapon and blasts, not hitting you, but blasts past you into the ground. And then there's this like chittering, clicking sound. Like imagine someone doing Morse code, but with like a jaw. And the other two are now flying out and around as well. The second one firing a shot at Dr. West. Oh, this could be bad. I want you to know they all have like very low odds to hit people.
You keep saying this.
I know. And
Right before you get blasted through
This
the
is
chest.
why playing games with Aaron kind of sucks sometimes in games where dice rolling is important.
I feel legitimately terrible.
You say
because
that
now,
every time.
Just
now
punch him like a donut.
I'm normally more prepared than this, but now I have to actually go into the book because I don't know off the top of my head what happens when a lightning gun critically hits someone.
Oh my god.
Oh.
No.
And I really hope it's one of those cases where it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. But
Time to open the book.
it's
Find
not-
out what's happening.
yeah, and it's not in your book. This scenario comes from the old book, not the new book. But while I do this, will you go ahead and do me a favor? I'm going to guess you would like to dodge if possible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just crit on your dodge roll and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just my dodge again. That is a 33 out of 50.
Okay, so
Wait,
the very,
That's a crit.
That is the crit.
Yeah.
yeah. Weird that V managed to put that into the world, like just to summon it.
Please summon more. Summon more.
I have a secret.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because if the gun hits, the victim must resist the damage rolled versus your current hit points or be killed instantly on a critical hit.
Oh.
So, instead, you dodge and will only take half of the damage, which now the dice are rolling low and it's good for you. I rolled a 2, so you only take 1 damage, which at this point I'm going to say the lightning gun doesn't actually hit you. It just bolts past you close enough to actually sear flesh with the near adjacent heat. The last blast, because neither of you were up to anything, going to Agent Eastman. Same basic principle in terms of a lightning gun, but oh god, no. Did they crit fail? No. They rolled. I was seeing they crit failed, and then I realized, I thought, oh god, did they crit? And then all of you puckered at once, and I had to like immediately add fail before the tension in the room just got entirely too bad. So no, Agent Eastman, this blast goes well wide. Now, you have, as I remember, surrounded this place with various chemicals, which means there is a chance that they have ignited what is going on. And based on a luck check, I rolled it V, high or low.
Low.
Is low good or bad?
Good.
Okay, so they've not set the barn on fire with that so far. That's the first round of combat. There are 3 of them. They are flying. They are skittering. That makes them harder to hit. So if they are airborne, you're going to need to roll a negative 20 on your firearms, so long as they are out in the open.
So just so I understand above table, because I have a firearm score of 20. Do I have to hit like a what 0, 0, 0 to hit them?
A zero, all zeros is very, very bad. You would want to roll a 0, 0, 1.
Yep. That's the only way you can hit. I mean, mine goes down to 20 at that point, which is, it's rough, but like, it's possible.
I need 100. Cool.
So they all have higher initiative than you do, which means your actions can kind of happen in whatever order you need them to. But in theory, the next person to act should be whoever has the dexterity that is just closest to 15. So who has any of a 14 or a 13, they would go next. 12?
Yeah. That's...
What, 11?
11.
10?
Yeah,
11.
Okay, I have 11 all around.
I build smart, not dexterous.
If I get to single numbers, it's going to be awkward. Okay, so then, yeah, Dr. West, Agent Eastman, and Agent North, you can all act simultaneously. For my purposes, I'm going to have aliens A, B, and C. And because they are floating around out in the open, any one of you can shoot any of them at any time.
Okay.
I will aim my gun at A, I suppose.
Okay.
See what happens at least. This one doesn't look as liquidy, so that's beneficial.
Better? Worse?
Okay, I got a 15. And with the negative 20, I have 60 to hit,
Okay, so
15 out of 60.
yeah, and if you're using an AR, it should be 1d10 plus 2. No, that's for regular rifles. An AR is 1d10.
I
D12.
have
1d12.
Oh, then yeah, 1d12. Go at it.
Yep. Okay.
12.
Is that showing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You're going off on this guy. The skill. Well, actually, no. Like you're doing it. You tell me. So there's this gigantic insect flying around, occasionally shooting bolts of fucking lightning at you. But you are Agent Eastman. You are a CIA-trained paramilitary operator. You have seen some shit, and you're not going to let a shrimp with a glowy face take you down. So this first shot, because you are going to kill it, that's enough to kill this thing in one hit. Tell me what that looks like.
Nice. So the shots have been fired at as the lightning has arced towards us. I can smell the ozone still lingering within the air, and I take the gun. Human beings are not good with scent, except for V, of course. But human beings are absolutely horrible. It's not one of the things that we're really good for. We're good with our sight. So I kind of smell the ozone, and like it's confusing me for a bit, but then for some reason something in my eye just pops in its blue face. It's bright blue face, and I aim just so and fire a couple rounds going right through its head.
Straight through the plate. So you get the nice little splash of blue at the front where it pierces, and then the exit wound. That's what you give the firearm skill, because you'd be able to line up that shot, get it at the angle so you're going to penetrate through all the squishy parts, as opposed to like ricocheting out. And at the back of this thing's head, like this just cloud of blue luminescent goo emerges as it just immediately like sinks to the ground. That's one down.
Great. So that lightning gun, it's, I mean, presumably the guy that's dead dropped it, right?
I mean, he's not using it anymore, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume this creature's gender, because I have no idea. They're beyond gender. Like, like the best NBs about us, they just don't. What is gender?
Sure, exactly.
No gender, only prawn.
Oh, no gender, only prawn. Great. Wonderful. Perfect. I'm gonna run forward and grab the lightning gun and see if I can't use it against them.
Okay.
I don't know how useful human firearm skill is to firing a shrimp alien lightning gun, but maybe there's some.
Well, let me describe this thing for you as you get closer.
Sure.
Because it does have the general carbine pattern is what it's called. There's definitely like a barrel, and there's some kind of like part where a magazine would go, and then some kind of like stabilizing plate, right? However, where like the trigger mechanism would go, you imagine it's less like a grip and then a trigger. It's more like do you remember the Power Glove from 1980s? Mm-hmm. More like a Power Glove. And then inside the Power Glove, there are little like tendrily tentacle things.
Well, something tells me I probably don't want to stick my hand in that, huh?
I will say this to you. That's how you use it. It's possible to use it if you want to use it.
Suddenly much less interested in using it. So I'm just going to stick with my own AR.
As you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, firearms roll is
48.
Does that
out of 60 with the minus 20?
Okay, with the minus 20. All right.
Yeah.
So you'll hit it. Go ahead and make your 1d12 damage roll.
7.
Taking a chunk out of it. Obviously, if you survive, Agent Eastman will use this to talk about why he is a much better operator than you are. So not enough to kill it, but enough to draw its attention, good, and do some significant harm, blasting one of the wings, just glancing in that direction, smashing in not the shoulder. That is not at all bodily correct. But you see now the one wing is still flapping as fast as it should, and the other is kind of out of sync, and you can tell it's having a hard time kind of controlling how it flies. Dr. West, Agent Southerland, are you also going to attempt violence?
I was gonna try to, like, as this is going on, tell Southerland to light the barn up as I take a shot with my pistol.
Sounds fair to me. Are you okay with that plan, Agent Southerland?
I am okay with that plan. I will fumble with my lighter.
Yep. That's a 35. That's not gonna hit. Because with the minus 20, it brings me down to a 20.
Yeah. Well, you didn't critical fail.
Even if Dr. West was Dr. West was shooting at the one who's a little worse for wear.
It's moving erratically, which is the problem.
Oh,
it's not like it landed.
Yeah.
Now it's moving as awkwardly, but just like,
on the one.
Yeah. So, and then Agent Sutherland going to light it up. Are you doing that right now?
If Dr. West said, verbally, go light the barn, 100%. Agent Southerland is running to do the thing that he's at least confident he can do.
Oh, I can do this. Where's the roll for start fire? I want to see that hubris come back and bite you in the ass. No, lighting it up is not a problem. You'll be able to do that. Unfortunately, this creates two problems. One, the barn is going to be going blazing fire. So anything barn related, if you're trying to that's your cover gone. You cannot get close enough to the barn to take cover now, which means the nearest up is the house or the shed.
I thought there were some cars out.
Yeah, but I mean, you want to be near the all metal thing when the lightning gun's happening.
Good point.
No. Can I just for a second with light? does our weapon skill go back to normal?
It's not the darkness that's making it difficult. It's the fact that they're flying.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Very, very nimble in a three-dimensional space makes it harder to do. Well, for some of us, it doesn't, Agent Eastman, but for everybody else, it's apparently hard. Which takes us back to the top
Chuck don't fuck burger, I tell you.
Which takes us back to the top of the initiative order. And I will say one thing that is unfortunate for Agent Southerland is that they are fiercely defensive of this place. So when they have detected that you are the one doing harm, that is a kind of attention that you do not want to receive.
Sure.
Oh, no, that's not great for that. Oh, my God.
Okay.
They rolled an 88. That's critical fail. So this point, we're going to say this is letter C. This is the third one that has not been injured. Whatever is happening with the lightning gun, remember I just told you. What happens when you critically on a lightning gun?
You have to resist the damage or you die instantly.
Correct. So you have to roll out of your hit points. Let us see. This is going to be so fucking anticlimactic if it kills itself.
I mean, for you. I think
for you,
us,
it'll be great for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we? Yes! Yes! Yes!
Can
Critically
I...
failed the resist roll.
Yes! Are you kidding
Because there was
me?
a roll to 77. There was a part of me that's like, okay, well, if the only normal fails, I'll have him take some damage. That way it's still fun. But in this moment, I guess this is going to make you second. You're like, oh, I'm glad I didn't put my hand in that fucking thing. Because you see, like, Agent Southerland, what's happening to you. Like, it floats down around to where you are, seeing what it is. And, like, it's on the ground, and it has this thing, like, pointed up. Not even, like, because humans do this, but this was, it's in front of them like this. And you see, like, the big shrimp arms and this big shrimp face with the blue tendrils. And it is close enough, and you are like... I don't know. Do you believe in God, Agent Southerland?
If it's okay, I would like to be like nervously like panic and like reach for the light handgun and fire it, but have it completely go wide. But
this is gonna be amazing because like you're panicking, you're trembling, right? And you're reaching for the gun, and you're like this alien, and you pull the trigger. And then it just like explodes outward. This like an entire lightning bolt worth of energy inside the body and then outside. And you just have this moment where like
I did it!
We're so proud of you.
So proud.
And it's just raining down ozone and insect parts, and you're just like, I'm a god.
I am Action Man.
I'm just like standing off to the side, like, are you fucking kidding me?
They grow up so fast.
So points to Agent North, points the thing, points to Agent North, points to the thing.
Real American heroes,
Just
but
like,
I am.
very, very confused about what is happening.
Don't prematurely celebrate because we have one left, right? And that is the one that Agent North injured, which means that is the one that Agent North is going to have to deal with. So now we roll again.
This is the one that Agent North is going to die to.
That's possible.
Yep.
It did hit. So do you want to make a dodge?
Oh, 24 on a 50.
So you will take half of 1d10, which is 5.
Okay.
This time the bolt does hit you, and I've never been struck by lightning, so I can't describe it perfectly. But I'm imagining there's the moment where, like, so the human body works by electronic signals, right? So we say for a moment, like a split second, your entire body, every single switch a body has, is turned to on, as like anything that requires electrical impulse. So like you just go statue mode for a moment, right? Like every muscle tenses up, your eyes slam shut, like jaw clenches, and then the circuit is completed, the lightning goes down to the ground, and you get your body back. I'm guessing you're gonna have some really interesting fractal scars after this.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna have some wicked scars.
Probably, yeah.
Hair also probably just fucked, right? There's no way you're keeping your hair after that, right?
I've got a pixie cut. I didn't have much to begin with, so I'm not gonna lose it.
That's fair. I don't know if being hit by lightning like burns the hair off your body. I don't know how it works, but
not sure.
I'm gonna have to Google that before my next game. But the point is, you're not dead, right?
Yeah, thank God. Also, was that 5 damage before or after the half?
After having, he rolled a 10 for damage because you don't get.
Jesus.
I know. You you didn't explode.
I know.
Blessings.
I know. I mean, to be fair, I still would have been fine if I took the 10, but like, don't want to take the 10.
So that is the other one down, which means we are back to Agent Eastman, Agent North, Agent West.
I had a question.
You still want to do the lightning gun?
No, I definitely don't. No, I actually, again, not really knowing how it would work. If everything would kind of like fire in the instant, I know, like, you know, if you get electrocuted, right? Like if you kind of like touch a thing, like you just, and like it's hard to, you can't like let go or anything. So would it be fair to say that as I'm like squaring off with this thing and it is shooting its lightning gun, that in the moment that it electrocutes me, I end up like squeezing the trigger? It's not great trigger discipline, right? But like, would it be fair to say that I would have that like immediate?
Make a normal hit, but the idea that like you're going to manage to hit it as like your entire body jerks shut, and like maybe that is the lucky thing that flies off.
Yeah, I mean that's, to me, that would make sense as like a reaction, right? I don't know, just it's cinematic.
You want to take the chance that shoots somebody else around you because you, instead of jerking up towards the alien, you jerk like over to Jojo or to Agent Southerland?
Okay, well that would be rude and not very cinematic.
There's gunfire going off as it does, but I can't give without taketh. So
you should put my life on the line after being the best of us. You should. Yeah.
Did you see what he just did to that alien? Do you want to be on the receiving end of that? He exploded the thing with his mind, apparently.
Just used all of his cinnamon roll powers.
You'll get a normal attack this round.
Okay.
To be clear. So, but yes, Agent Eastman, Agent North, Agent West. It's taken its action, so it is on the three of you.
I will let the people who are better at shooting go first.
Well, I mean, everyone's gonna have a chance,
crazy.
right? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sure. What you
got? So I remember something. I don't know if I remember in this moment, but I remember the protomatter does not like, well, it reacts to electricity. I think we need this gun, so I want to toss my rifle and run for this.
Run for the gun.
Run for the electric gun.
Yeah, same.
And can I use it immediately, or is this just me running for it and grabbing it?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty cool that if you want to go do it, I want someone to pick up the gun because it's a very interesting mechanic. Yes. So what you're going to realize pretty much immediately, maybe not in the actual like technical sense, but you're going to have a sense of it, is that this is not so much a weapon as it is a biomechanical organism. And it draws its strength kind of like through the user, and more like a symbiotic relationship between gun and wielder, more symbiotic even than what you are used to with your own firearm. Just crudely, it consumes meat to make pew pew.
Well,
can you not say it that way? Can you literally say it
Which part
any
was it
other
that you
way?
had a problem with?
Just
I think it was the make pew pew that disturbed
Yeah.
everyone.
Is that what you had?
yeah.
I can use consume meat.
That's fine. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It consumes the meat.
It
to make
turns-
the pew 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 pew.
Okay. No, because it's still in the same realm
Okay, so
of problematic.
it consumes meat to make pew.
Take it. We'll take it.
It turns matter into energy.
Yeah.
Hey, Logan, look at that. You're so great with words.
So
I am word man.
the oh my god, that's disgusting. Sorry, the next thing was whatever. So you when you put your hand into this thing, it kind of goes up to like the middle of the forearm, and you can feel the tendrils kind of like attached to you in like a cyberpunk The Matrix kind of way. Like you're plugged into this thing now. But it's mechanically, yes, but it's also bio, which means you have a like it becomes like it's an appendage, right? Like like Mega Man this shit, right?
Exactly.
So it goes off of your normal firearms roll.
Yeah.
Well, if any of us had to pick it up, I guess the guy whose body regenerates itself might be the right person for it.
I got a 33. I got a 33. I got a 33.
Yeah, there's no need to to bother. The thing you're shooting does not have enough hit points to survive it, and you crit. So it's tragic that you're robbing Agent Southerland of his joy by also doing this. But yes, describe the sensation of this thing having plugged into you, and you point essentially your hand up to the thing and do a magic, like, except lightning shoots out of this new attachment to you. What does that feel like? What does that look like? Who gets splattered with the bug guts as you disintegrate?
I slide my hand in, like I see the blue tendrils wrapping around, and I can feel it kind of very alien at first, very strange, very unusual. But as it like finishes up its sequence, it's boot up time to become one with my arm. I like stop feeling alien about it, and I start feeling very natural about it. And just as it finishes, instead of, oh, weird guys, look at my alien gun, I go, hey guys, want to see something cool? And I just the bolt launches, arcs perfectly, skimming its head and just like almost bisecting it with lightning.
So you don't want it to explode. You want two halves of alien to like fall down out of the sky. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Love that for you. We're going to talk a little bit later about how you take this thing off. But for now, be excited.
Oh, so it can be taken off.
Sort of.
Now
Now
I have an arm.
we it has stopped being noisy, right? The barn is starting to light up. Things are you've reached the moment where you're like, all right, I mean, one of us got hit by lightning, but that's not so bad, right? Like only one of us got hit by lightning, which considering the odds is pretty impressive. And the barn's on fire, which is good. I mean, like Agent Eastman has a thing on, that's gonna be strange to explain. But aside from that, it feels like mission accomplished, right?
I'm sensing a butt.
But-
Yeah, but
Is there
That was
more
the question.
exposition?
I'm asking you. Does it feel that way?
Well, I'm asking you, is it wrong to if the answer's yes?
You're preemptively shitting on your own joy, right? Like, I'm
Yes.
giving you an opportunity to be happy, and you're all like, no, I
Have
don't
you
want
paid
that.
attention to your roles at all? Like
Yeah, I feel genuinely bad about it. So as well, fine. Since you don't want to be happy, I will narrate. You are all happy for a moment as you feel like you have accomplished your objective, and that moment starts to fade. Can somebody, actually, everyone, make an awareness or alertness, I believe, roll for me.
75 out of 80, so I pass.
40 out of 40.
Money.
61 out of 50.
Bad. I got 78 out of 20.
Nothing bad happens if we fail. It just means that Agent West and Agent North, two people to notice it first, which is that the insect-like buzzing noise has been replaced by something a little different. Same kind of almost basic principle of flight, but certainly of terrestrial origin. That is the sound of a helicopter. Agent North, you've been around helicopters. Agent Eastman, you will eventually know specifically that is an HH-60, which is a helicopter used by American Special Forces to infiltrate and exfiltrate various places that they shouldn't be.
And there's a giant burning building by us.
Yeah.
And unless someone, and I look at Southerland, made a phone call.
What? No, I didn't make any phone call. I've been with you guys
Okay.
the whole time.
Yeah, okay. That's not supposed
Should
to
I make
be
a phone
here.
call? Why?
No, I don't think. I think it's too late.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't me.
Okay, then North, what's going on? What do we do? What's the play?
Can I make an idea roll? Because let me tell you, V doesn't have any.
This kind of, so like nobody has this helicopter except for the government. It's not a private helicopter. It's not like a Blackwater helicopter. That is like a U.S. Air Force or 160th SOAR, like Army Aviation Regiment helicopter. There's no reason for it to be dicking around here except to be related to what is happening.
Yeah.
So your choices would be like stay and figure out what the deal is, or run away, essentially. But like you're not going to outrun the helicopter. And if they're looking for you, then like,
I mean, if they're looking for us, they're probably going to find us.
Well, yeah, especially
So-
because one of us has a lightning gun strapped to his arm now.
Maybe they're just
Let me
trying
have
to
it.
pick us up, and we can just call them and say, "Hey, we're right here next to the burning barn in the crazy town," and they'll come and just airlift us out of here, right?
Sure, Agent
So-
Southerland.
Right?
What's the house looking like right now? Just empty and dark?
something dark.
I'm contemplating going in there. At least to not be in the line of sight of a helicopter.
I mean,
You,
it's
you
a
mean that like as a general rule for everyone, or you specifically, Mr. Lightning Arm?
I am. I mean, so, to be honest, I'm now in survival mode. I need to survive somehow. I have alien stuff going on, both on my arm and inside of me. I know we didn't call these guys. Who called them? Why are they in the area? If they aren't here to take care of what we just took care of, they're here to take care of us, from my point of view. So, I want to go into the house, and I don't know if anyone's going to try and stop me or not.
That's valid. Is anyone gonna?
I'm. Yeah, I.
And I said I don't want them to see us, so I'm going in.
I mean, I honestly think that trying to hide from it is relatively pointless. Because I mean, like you said, if they're here for us, like we're not going to be able to outrun it. So
Okay,
I don't
know. If you believe they're here to attack you, it would make sense to go into the house because then at least at that point you have like some cover, right? And you're inches away from a gigantic, awesome lightning gun versus U.S. Army survival battle, right? And if they're not here to kill you, then like you'll have that opportunity to engage with them. Like it sounds to me, if I'm getting this right, Agent Eastman, that you're saying like whether it's good news or bad news, the house is the correct decision.
We
My
can at
point of
least
view,
be like,
yes.
hey, we moved into the house so we could clear a landing space for you.
Or if in character, maybe I can stay here and flag them down, and if you want to just hide and kind of gestures over to your crazy alien Mega Man arm,
Behind your
maybe
back.
I'll just talk to them because we can. I mean, we're on the same side. We can trust them, right? So I'll just maybe I could just give them a call, and if you
I'm
feel a
going to
little
give this word of
apprehensive-
advice.
yeah.
If you think the U.S. government all works with each other nicely,
just look
that
at
is
me
a
and
big
Eastman.
mistake.
Wait, you've been perfectly civil this whole time.
Oh,
Well,
well, then
we
you
can be
haven't been paying
civil.
attention.
Yeah,
I say
we can
sarcastically.
be civil.
Make the call.
I think
I'm making my own
going-
call. You make
Yeah.
your own call.
Okay. I think I'm going to call on the phone and say that we've survived an attack, and my team has scattered, and I'm next to a burning barn, and they'll come find me, and if something happens, well, then everybody will know. I'm the one with the phone anyway, so I have to make the call.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well, the good news, bad news situation. The bad news is that the phone, as they explained, goes to voicemail. There's no one who picks it up. That's the kind of thing where they will listen to it after the fact, right? Like you'll call, you'll leave a message. The second there's a message, they will answer it because in this world of clandestine, anti-eldritch espionage, you don't want to hear other people's voices and get their identity. The good news is that the phone will like vibrate with a text message once that message is received. The gist of which is that message received, return to whatever code phrase it is that means just go back to your normal shit and then we'll check in debrief, right?
Okay.
Doesn't stop the helicopter noise. Helicopter doesn't turn around. Helicopter doesn't.
People coming in to clean up after we're done, but still, one would think we would.
So I know that Agent Eastman's going to go to the house. Agent Southerland, it sounds like you're not so super interested in hiding. Dr. West, are you house or general vicinity waiting? Which of those two?
I think I'll wait with Southerland.
And Agent North.
I will wait with Southerland and West. Worst case scenario, we can point them in the direction of the alien men in the house.
As this is going on, I will share with the rest of the group that Eastman is completely compromised at this point.
Yeah, no shit. Have you seen his arm?
I'm just
even before that.
Even before that. Earlier, I noticed that he was healing up fine. And look.
What do you mean?
Through his
healing up fine. What do you mean?
He looked like he had taken that tumble down the steps over a week ago.
And you didn't think that this was like important to share at all? Before we put him in the proximity of a lightning gun?
I made a call at the time.
Okay.
Well, they did say that, you know, this thing happens on a gradient, and you know, maybe they'll just like heavily sedate him. It doesn't mean death. Maybe they'll just
like they did with Spivey.
We're I feel like we're just jumping to conclusions that are the most negative, but maybe, like, you know, maybe we'll be okay. As he's like super optimistic, like, come on, like, it's over. Yeah, like we're all gonna come out of this together. Maybe we can stick him with morphine now, right, Doctor? What we can just tag him and then.
I love that Agent Southerland is not genre aware at all.
No. Great.
You'll have this discussion. Eventually the helicopter will land, and the people who get out of it, Agent North, you recognize they're not marked. They're not wearing any kind of insignia, which is not normally how this works. Even special operators will have something that says, like, some kind of identifier. None of these men do, except for the one man who gets out, who looks a lot less like a jacked up Sam Fisher cyber commando, and a lot more like a TV journalist in a war zone, right? Like wearing business slacks and a shirt and a tie, but with Kevlar over it, and still has a rifle. He's taken the headset off from being inside the thing, and he unplugs it. Getting out with him, though, are, you count, like half a dozen of those Sam Fisher types, and they are wielding weapons and they are pointing them at you. But the man says, he's got a beautiful Texan accent. I'm not going to do it because that would be offensive to Texas. Looking directly at kind of the three of you and says, well, caused a bit of a mess here. I say, y'all are looking pretty green around the gills, aren't you?
I look over explicitly to Agent North, like, please talk to the scary man.
Just a lot going on tonight, sir.
No, I don't think you understood me correctly. I'm saying that you're looking pretty green around the gills. Green like the water maybe in the Nile Delta.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm supposing that your handlers didn't tell you anything about what's going on around here, or who we are.
No, sir.
Well, I gotta say, miss, sorry I didn't get your name.
North.
I gotta say, Miss North, you ruined actually something pretty expensive that was going on here. But tell me, what did you see inside the bar?
We didn't go inside the barn.
That the kind of thing you'd be willing to swear in front of a federal intelligence court?
Yes, sir.
And saying go for the rest of your friends here, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just the three of you we need to worry about?
No, sir.
No.
What happened to your friend?
He's inside the house.
All right.
He's compromised.
Oh, you mean you got some of the goo on?
Yes.
And absconded with one of the lightning weapons.
No shit.
No shit.
He managed to put that thing on?
Yes, sir.
He knows how to get it off, right?
No, sir.
Oh, that's gonna be fucking funny when he finds out.
Yes, sir.
Well, normally it's not the first thing that happens. What happens? Government different compartmentalization happens. Keep too many secrets and then things like this go wrong. You have interrupted a very expensive partnership and program, but I understand why you did it. And frankly, the idea of a bunch of dead federal agents here, mostly you, maybe one of us, if you managed to do it, is not the kind of news that we want to be covering up. So how's about this? We're going to deal with the mess you made here. You're going to fuck off to wherever back you're from, and we're just going to pretend this little tete-a-tete never happened. How's that sound?
Okay. And our lightning gun friend inside the house?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. See, the thing about protomatter is once you've destroyed the base relay, that's what the structure is, and that's what our friends, he kind of kicks one of the flying shrimp creatures, we're operating. Stuff's only good within a certain radius, and once you destroy the material, it reverts back to its normal organic matter state. So anything that has been gooed, as we say in the parlance, will dissolve into a kind of slurry over the matter of the next 12 hours. I don't think that's going to be a problem that we have to worry about. You can tell them if you want.
No, it's funnier to let him find out.
He just, in 12 hours, really has
to go to the bathroom. Oh my God, it's going to be the worst shit he's ever had in his life.
No, I don't think you quite understand. Is that
he melts.
Any part of him that has been replaced, like muscle tissue or organs, is now made of protomatter, which will dissolve into nothingness, which will leave him without muscles and organs that have been replaced.
Oh,
that's
going a lot worse.
It's agonizingly awful way to die.
Great.
Now, do you wish you'd taken me up on that offer?
I feel like we should probably tell him, right? And then, yeah, because we do know, I will say that with Spivey, that people that have protomatter, they can be affected by certain medications. So I think it would be a kindness to perhaps help Eastman out, because something tells me in 12 hours he's not gonna be doing great. Aaron told me.
Ebola liquefies your innards, right? Like the way hemorrhaging fevers do that, except everywhere, kind of all at once.
Yeah.
Over the course of 12 hours, so it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. But this guy still doesn't give a shit about that. He says, well, I'll tell you what, and he's got his own problems to deal with. You should probably help him out. I'm told it's agonizing, and clock's gonna start just as soon as my associate's over here, and he jerks a thumb over his shoulder. Deal with the rest of that, what's going on. Also, by the way, it's gonna be a pretty big explosion. I would not be anywhere near this place, and call it, what do you think? 7 minutes, my buddy says. You got 7 minutes to get pretty far away.
So that means we're loading Eastman in the car and doing this on the way.
Well, whether or not Eastman comes, fucking holler at him and run to the car, and if he gets there, great, and if he doesn't, well, it's a better kindness than what's gonna happen over the next 12 hours.
Yeah. All right, y'all be on your way now. Have a good time.
Thanks. And I just turn and I just book it. Run back to the car.
Not stopping to get Eastman along the way.
Somebody else can get Eastman, but one of us has to fucking drive the car. So
yeah. If you run over to the car and pull it over here, I'll go grab Eastman.
Agent Southerland, are you going with Dr. West or are you going with Agent North?
I'm going with Dr. West. I was going to go look for Eastman.
Yeah, he ran into the house, so that's where I'm going to go.
And Dr. West has some amount of discretion. I do not believe for a moment that Agent Southerland's going to be able to keep this secret. So I'm very excited for this conversation because, yes, the truth of the matter is, Agent Eastman, that you have been Infected with the protomatter, yes. But those scars being alien in nature and the things you have just seen, there's probably like a logic train filtering together. The protomatter is localized and does require a certain amount of upkeep, reintroduction, so you do not have long to live. I'm going to say it's up to you, actually, whether or not you heard that conversation or whether you would rather be oblivious as Dr. West and Agent Southerland come into the house.
I think my training kicks in, and I dug in someplace that I thought was safe, but I could still hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, if they said, okay, well, we're going to come here gun blazing, then I knew I need to get deeper into the house and get my, new friend ready to see what it can really do. But upon hearing that, I'm going to die, I'm just kind of stuck on the floor. I'm sitting there. I'm not. The years of compartmentalizing all the weird shit I've seen has kind of come back and hit me hard. And I'm just kind of staring at the ground in the darkness.
Well, Dr. West, Agent Southerland, that is what you walk in on.
I have pulled out the bottle of morphine from my bag, and I'm kind of just sort of like palming it in my hand, just sort of like a little unsure. And then I'll look at Eastman and say, "How much of that did you hear?"
Enough.
And
it's gonna hurt, isn't it?
A lot.
It's bound to hurt. Working in this job.
I pull the car up to the front of the house and I just start laying on the horn a couple times. Like, guys, we are on a fucking timer.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna walk over, and say, if you want to come with us, we can do it somewhere comfortable, or we can do it right here. And I'll hand him the bottle of morphine and the syringe.
Here's the deal. Oh, go ahead.
Finish your thing.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm either gonna die in 12 hours painfully. Who knows what this will actually do for me? Or you two get in the car, let the boys do their work, and we'll call it done. I see it. I would rather I'd rather get this over with sooner rather than later.
Sutherland's kind of like rubbing his arm. He's bruised, obviously. It's been a hell of a couple days. And he goes, they basically implied that they're, as the horn is being laid on, essentially, he's like, they told us, they told us to run. I think they're gonna level the town, Eastman. But maybe you could, look at you. And he kind of like goes to like give you a little shove, but like you're a mountain of a man, and he's not, and he like, he gives you a little put. He goes, look at you, like you're amazing. Like you can survive this. Just grab a vial of something that's in the water, or a vial of the goo by the barn, and just start running. They'll assume you're dead, and he said that you have to keep reintroducing the protomatter, and it'll all die without the host, but it's all in the water, and there's been other entities besides the one, so maybe there's an adjacent one. And like he goes, you don't have to give up here, as I assume the horn is.
At this point, it is just, it's
I'm
literally
already walking to the door at this point. I've handed Eastman what I said, and that point it's up to him.
I thank you, Southerland, but remember when I said I don't want to bring evil into this world? I go into my suit jacket, still wearing a nice black suit, and I pull out a letter. On it is coordinates exactly to like they're coordinates. We'll just say that, and I hand it to him. Go there. You'll know what to do once you're there. Everything else will be taken care of on its own. You did good, kid. Have fun out there. Don't let it get to you. And I'll see you if there's a next time. And I just turn around and just find somewhere to sit, waiting for it all to end.
You just hear me shouting from the
Yeah,
back. Fucking Southerland,
come on.
get the fuck out here. We are leaving. You've got 10 seconds.
I say, Agent Eastman, thank you. Good luck. And
Me too,
then
kid.
he'll turn and run out towards the car with the paper scrunched in his hand.
Dive into the car.
Yeah.
And we're gone.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I just see
You don't pause to notice that Agent Eastman is not in the car?
it's one of those things where like as I see Southerland like come outside and he's by himself and he gets in the car and like goes to grab the door, I'm assuming that Eastman's not coming. Like I think it's fair because I feel like if Eastman was coming, Southerland would have been like, he's coming 10 more seconds, you know, or he would have said something. But like as he like climbs in the back and just shuts the door, I'm like, cool, great, done, let's go.
And so the story comes to a close with the credits rolling as the camera follows the black SUV turning right down the road, and it just kind of pans back up, and then the car goes off into the distance and the credits start to kind of roll over that scene. It is tragic the speed with which your lives returns to normal. That you went from fighting aliens on Tuesday to back teaching anthropology on Wednesday to back doing your rounds of Mr. Smith with the hernia and Mr. Jones with the goiter on Tuesday, with going just back to listening to intel traffic from around the world and all kinds of banal evils on Tuesday. Agent Eastman, you left a letter, which is actually pretty good because in the time that it's taken me to have all this happen, I actually had a pretty good idea, and I'm going to implement it now. Because in the post-credits scene, before the bombs go off, there's a very tall Texan man wearing a suit and a flak jacket. He will find you in this room. Oh, they all left, huh?
Yep.
They tell you about the thing?
Told me you're gonna blow this place up.
Yeah, that's true. They tell you the rest of it?
No. What else is there? The fact that I'm gonna die?
Well, I mean, allegedly that they might have told you that, I don't know where they would have gotten this information, that the proto matter will dissolve itself and that you will die painfully over the next 10 or 12 hours. They tell you that part?
I was listening in, and if I remember, you're the one that told them that.
Guilty as charged. But here's the thing, my friend. What if I told you that was all, I believe the technical term was bullshit? What if I told you that I gave them that information knowing they would try to come in here to convince you to leave and that they would depart by themselves, leaving you here because you're a man who wants to ride out into the sunset in his own special way? Would that sound like something you believe?
Sir, you don't get to be green around the gills believing in coincidence. What's the deal?
I mean, deal's pretty simple, my friend. You have two options. One is you can stay here and you can die, which is not going to be the fault of any proto matter or that thing you got on your arm. It's going to be because my friends over there are going to, I know, you might take a couple of them down, but I'm guessing they could deal with you before it's out. Or we're about to leave here before the fireworks start, and you can just come hop in this little helicopter friend of mine, and we'll go for a ride somewhere. You like what you do for a living, Agent Eastman?
Well, I don't think you do this job if you don't find a little bit of enjoyment in it.
Does it bother you having to go back and forth between like the normal life and the important work of defending this country from forces outside of our control?
Be a bit troublesome, explaining that to all kinds of folk.
And what if I told you there was a way for you to do this for a living full time, as it were? Would that be a program that you are interested in?
Well, I lift up the laser gun. Benefits seem kind of nice.
Oh yeah,
Sign me up.
we also have dental.
And I smile brightly, my teeth already white and gleaming. Yeah, let's see what this goes.
And that is the end of the end credits scene. There is more than one organization at work inside the government, left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing. So while 3 of you return back to your normal life, ready to be used up again by the program, Agent Eastman has made new allies in a different part of our sprawling, bureaucratic, anti-Eldritch nightmare. And that brings us to the end of Convergence, a single-serving scenario written by John Scott Tynes for the game Delta Green. I have always been Aaron, your storyteller, but I'm only a part of the puzzle, the smallest one here. In fact, I have been joined this time by 4 incredibly amazing cast members who, despite it being their first game of Delta Green, managed to fucking kill it. You all were so great. I'm excited. I think I'll actually get everyone back together. We can do a little chat, like a debrief about how the game and like what you thought about it. We'll put that up on like a YouTube exclusive for Patreon or something. But for now, we are coming up on right out of this o'clock. So playing Dr. West, Heart of Gold, did her best to like help a friend is the wrong word. It happened very quickly. To help a good person ease their way out of the night. Dr. West, played by Aubrey. Aubrey, tell us where people can find you. If they love this and they want more, where do they go?
Well, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Mad Queen Cosplay, and I am usually found running the show over at Goblets and Gays and Ani Mamagiri. Goblets and Gays is just Pathfinder goodness. Ani Mamagiri is my horror actual play inspired by my love of gothic fiction and horror movies, especially from the 80s and 90s. And you can also catch me over on Wayward Arcadium and Bring Your Own Mech.
Adjacent Dr. West, now on a personal journey towards being, I think someone in the chat said Eldritch Captain America, which is not entirely far from the truth. CIA paramilitary operator turned into Eldritch Captain America. It is Logan as Agent Eastman. Logan, people love this stuff. Where can they find more of you?
Right now, I'm still getting my feet wet. Still only on Twitter. I'm sorry. I'm lame. I'm only just hanging out there talking about all types of things. But you can find me on Twitter at LoganDDM. Find me there. You might find my Instagram, but I haven't posted anything but a profile picture. So, you know, you can say how handsome I am or not. That's your choice. That's your prerogative.
Well, if I have it my way, people will be able to. If I have it my way, people will be able to find you here again, because I would absolutely love, and Aubrey as well. I'd love to have all 3 of you back to play some more. Fingers crossed on that front. Also, Agent Cinnamon Roll, just the goodest boy in over his head, trying to bring in a wholesome energy to a deeply unwholesome game system, cracking cynical hearts and destroying aliens with his mind. It is Jojo. Jojo, tell us where people can go find more of you.
Hi, you can find me on Twitter at it's DM Jojo. I just post about occasionally, you know, D&D and various video games. I'm working on just a couple of one-shot or short adventures that will be titled Chroma Chronicles, which is my home setting, and the account at Chroma Chronics is saved. The placeholder is out there, but that's stuff for the future, and I guess you saw it here first. And that's it. It's been really awesome playing, and everyone's been great, and it's been a really cool experience. So I thank you guys so much for bringing me on, and I would love to do it again. It was awesome. And do I get to find out what was with the letter, with the coordinates? I'm dying to not know.
No.
In our secret debrief, obviously.
Okay.
Because what's happened, and I'll tell you, I'll let V. I can't mess up because I start talking about this in forever. So I will also say, playing Agent North, who understood Agent Eastman better than anyone else, and was like, just get the fuck out of the house, he's not coming. I swear to God, like, I've already solved this problem. Let's get in the goddamn car. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, not a bad shot, had the good sense to not put her hand in the alien technology device, and also, lest we forget, survived jumping out of a burning building.
Badass.
That is V. V, tell us, if hypothetically I were interested in seeing more of you, hearing more of you, where could I do it? Where would I go?
Obviously Twitter, because it's kind of how all of us met each other. I am on Twitter at V is for Vampire, because my name is V and I love vampires. But also I am the queen of the court here at Queen's Court Games, so you can find us doing stuff all the time. Me and Aaron doing stuff all the time, because we're Queen's Court Games together, the two of us. There are others, but like we're both anyway.
Yes, I am Aaron. You can find me at Aaron in Words. I say occasional things about being a good DM, but not very often. If you want that kind of advice, go to Logan, because I'm just really not a social media person. However, you can keep track of our projects at Queen's Court RPG on Twitter, or Queen's Court Games on Facebook and Instagram, and I believe also the Clock app soon enough. Next week, we will be taking a break from the Eldritch horror and moving on instead to zany D&D hijinks. You can expect the first episode of Chronicles of the Astral Seas with our friend DM Josh here, same time next week, same channel. Follow it, Twitter, it'll get there. And while that's going on, I will tell you, V, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Logan after this and be like, hey, let's think of a story about what could be in this place and a way for the big reveal to be like Eldritch Captain America showing back up. And it'll all have been some like 7-dimensional chess brain plan, because the whole time Agent Eastman knew who the Texan was, and now he's on the inside, and we're going to solve it, right? Like this all spiraling out of my head in a big, beautiful mess of writing. So that is coming. But in the meantime, we're going to send you on to one of our friends. Thank you so much for joining me, Aubrey, Logan, Jojo, and V. Thank you so much, audience. We will see you again next week. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.